Ooh, and welcome back to Doomed, solo playthroughs through Arkham Horror, the card game with a focus on roleplay and storytelling. Today on Doomed, I'm very excited for us to jump into the waking side of the Dream Eaters campaign featuring Tony Morgan and, content warning, spiders. Arachnophobia is a very real thing. This scenario in particular and a couple of others are focused around spider-type enemies, so I'm warning people, it's in the description as well. Just so that you all know. If you're watching on the VOD, jump down to the link below where I've included a timestamp to where we start the action. Now, for those of y'alls who are in the chat right now, two things. One, I feel like we're talking about cake recipes to do with the cold void of space, which is interesting, and I need to know more. Second of all, naturally, of course, I started the stream. There's a 10-minute head start. Then I go live and I talk for 2 minutes and there's nobody here. And then immediately I get a call from someone that we've been expecting a call from all day. So I had to take the call in and arrange that. So I'm going to say apologies, but I'm not really apologizing. It's real life. Anyway, I'm really happy to be here with everybody. Yeah, woof. Yeah, phew. Wait, why would that be bad, Crosshair? Crosshair. Spooderman, Spooderman, literally the size of a Spooderman. Where is here? He's in my hair. I like you folks. At any rate, let's do a quick catch up on last time on Doomed, and then we'll jump in because I've already wasted 10 minutes. I haven't actually wasted 10 minutes, but I'm very exactly, Crosshair. I spent all day being a human being. This is the 2 hours where I don't have to be a human. I have to be an entertainer. What the hell is this crap? Anyway, anyway, we'll get into what that's all about a little later on. Okay, last time on Doomed, Luke Robinson, the dreamer, ventured back into the Dreamlands. He has access because of the gate box, a strange relic given to him by his uncle. He's very confidently there quite often, not so much in the waking world. Based on the writings of Virgil Gray, many people have started to have strange dreams, the same strange dreams, and he went to investigate because he's worried something might have happened to his beloved Dreamlands. Thankfully, last time on Doomed, the Cavern of Flames was awful, but Luke Robinson managed to pull through and survive. He strayed from the path in order to find the answers he needed to venture along the path, where he parlayed with the Zoogs, met some suspicious cats, and went along in the company of one, what's his name? Randolph Carter. Mysterious. It could just be a bunch of words, too. Today on Doomed, we're going to be on the other side of the scenario, the waking side. Luke Robinson left his partner, I'm going to call him his lover. You have whatever headcanon you want. That is true, Crosshair. They are always suspicious, and they should never be trusted. Cats, that is. Tony Morgan, again, I choose to think of them as partners in life, has been left behind to take care of Luke and his companion that ventured forth into the Dreamlands with him, Witten Green, who is like this awesome steampunk cosplayer, apparently. Hunter of Rare Books, I think is her title. Tony Morgan is the bounty hunter. Can you all read that? I hope so. We're going to get much more into how he plays and so on, and again, it's all about story and lore and much less about much less about all of these stats. Well, actually, here, let's read his story. Tony's tracked down low-life scum in every lousy corner of the world, but nothing could have prepared him for the thing he killed in Innsmouth. It had the form of a man, more or less, but it was covered in loathsome scales and slime, like some horrid creature of the deep. It stank of salt water, rotten fish, and blood. He should have let it go when it dove into the river, but he'd never let a bounty escape before, and he wasn't about to start then. Ever since, he's found a new kind of dirtbag to hunt. Ordinary mobster or otherworldly monster, Tony will take it down, if someone is willing to pay him for it. Tony, of course, is a rogue. He's out for himself. Long story short, he can take an extra action, which has to be used to engage or fight enemies with bounties on them. Bounties, of course, being, these resources over here on bounty contracts. This is a permanent that starts in play. It's a Tony Morgan thing. Basically, when an enemy comes into play, you can put bounties on it. So it's as if someone told you to kill it or as if he feels like he should. when you defeat an enemy with bounties on it, you get that as money. But it also activates his ability, which gives him an extra action per turn to fight or engage. Okay, mechanically, that's where we're at. Where are we in terms of Tony Morgan today? I'm going to be playing on standard. Let's jump in here. Scenario 1B, Waking Nightmare. It has been more than 24 hours since your companions fell asleep. Oh, I know, Crosshair. I figured this is right up your alley, honestly. Now, we'll talk about deck building and stuff. He has an interesting deck building thing, but he's mostly roguish, which is pretty fun. Over the course of the past day, your curiosity has slowly turned to concern and then dread. The problem began when one of your friends, Luke, started to toss and turn violently in his sleep. You snapped to attention and tried to shake him awake, but it was to no avail. You tried everything. Physical contact was no use. Water did nothing but soak their clothes and bed fruitlessly. Even opening their eyelids did not wake them, and in the process you noticed that their pupils had fully dilated, and that their eyes were glazed over with a milky white fog. Bounty hunters need bonuses on coconut confections. I do not get the reference, but I like it. You have no idea what this could mean for your friends. Have they managed to find their way to the land Virgil Gray described in his writings, or has something more sinister taken root within their minds and bodies? Just to be safe, Tony decides to take his companions to St. Mary's Hospital. If something ails them physically, perhaps the doctors there can discern what's wrong. Otherwise, you'll simply have to watch over them and hope that they return safely to the waking world. St. Mary's is the only hospital in the town of Arkham, and it is a fixture of its uptown neighborhood. You explain the situation to Nurse Greenberg, the head nurse at the hospital, who instructs several other nurses to carry your companions into the emergency ward on stretchers. She tells you with a warm, friendly smile that your friends will be examined by Dr. Maherswaran. I should have practiced that pronunciation, knowing that she was in this scenario. But other than that, you are left entirely in the dark. Hours pass. Oh, bounty bars! Yeah. Coconut chocolate. I feel like I've seen them. I don't know if they're for sale in North America. I know the reference, though. Sorry, I understand what we're saying. Hours pass. You hear nothing about the status of your companions. You still have not met with Dr. Maheswaran, and you're starting to grow impatient. You feel something crawling along your arm, and you instinctively brush it away, and then wonder if it was an insect or a figment of your imagination. You begin to question whether bringing your friends here was the right choice after all. Eventually, you decide to take matters into your own hands. Wacha. It's late at night, and the receptionist who instructed you to stay in the waiting room is nowhere to be seen. In fact, there are eerily few people roaming the halls of the hospital. With nobody to stop you, you sneak off into the emergency ward to find your friends. It does not take long for you to find their room. Your companions lie asleep on clean, white cots, their sleep anything but peaceful, pale-faced and sweaty. One of them tosses and turns in their sleep, their brow furrowed with pain or worry. That would be Luke's companion, who got thrown off into the sky by a monster last time, if we recall. Dr. Maheswaran does not seem surprised by your intrusion. Shivani, she introduces herself coldly without looking up from her clipboard. You're the ones who brought them in, right? Before you ask, no, I've never seen anything like this in my life, she says with a hint of dry impatience. You demand that she tell you everything she knows about their condition and not give you the runaround. With a sigh, she puts her clipboard down and addresses you frankly. Listen, I may be new to Arkham, but I've seen enough inexplicable maladies in this town to fill entire careers in medicine. I understand why you're concerned. Your friends... She struggles to find the right words. They're not simply asleep. It's as if they're hovering somewhere between sleep and unconsciousness or death. They're not aware of anything happening around them, but appear to be reacting to some kind of internal stimuli. Without hesitation, you ask if they're dreaming. Dreaming? Shivani replies. It's unlikely, though it might account for their mannerisms. Honestly, and I know this is not exactly reassuring, none of this makes any sense to me, medically speaking. Best doctor. Big fan. Just then you see a large hairy spider crawling on the chest of one of your friends. Well, that is odd. Dr. Maheswaran brushes the spider off, and several more emerge from the sheets to take its place. Ugh. You and the doctor both take several steps back out of pure instinct. You hear heavy footsteps in the hallway outside the emergency ward, and then the lights begin to flicker. Okay. That is more than simply odd. What in the world is going on out there? She asks anxiously. For just a moment, you think you hear one of your sleeping companions whisper something. Are they indeed dreaming? And if so, what does their condition have to do with these strange events? The investigators must decide. Convince the doctor to come with you while you investigate for her safety and yours, or convince her to stay with the patients and keep them safe while you investigate. Tony is going to figure out what's going on in the hospital and put it down if necessary, but there is no way he's leaving his partner asleep here in this hospital with who knows what's going on to them with him and with Luke and with Witten. So he's going to convince the doctor to stay with the patients and keep them safe. Get those children out of here. This is a hospital, not a playpen for bawling baby bee. Oh my god, Carolyn. Whoops. Yes, of course. Their safety is paramount. But do come back and tell me what's going on, please. She shivers. I really hate this place after dark. You nod and venture back into the hospital's waiting room, recording your campaign log that Dr. Maheswaran stayed with her patients. I will do that. Can I even spell it? There we go. All right. So we've decided to have her stay behind to make sure, or Tony's rather decided, that someone's keeping Luke safe. Gather all the things from the encounter sets, blah, 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 put things into play. We begin in the waiting room. If she stayed with her patients, we set her aside out of play. I'm just making sure I've got everything all sorted here. Yes, so that's that. Okay. So we start in the waiting room. The hospital's waiting room is pleasant, but boring, with several rows of benches and chairs. Nearby, a short bookshelf is filled with a variety of reading material, most of which you find dreadfully monotonous. Tony's not one for books, you know? He's one for investigating crime scenes, tracking people down, and hunting people for a paycheck. It's not a glamorous life, but in his mind, someone's got to do it. The waiting room is connected to the records office, the emergency room, and the experimental therapies ward. We've got up here our agenda and our act, and everything else is all set up. We'll read our agenda and our act, and then we'll jump in. Agenda 1A. Halls of... I should also just mention in passing, I'm really excited for the story aspect of today's stream, but I'm wildly nervous about the gameplay of it. Not really, like... It's a game, you know? Things go sideways. It is a conundrum, Crosshair. Yeah, I wanted to do, like, the second one, Maheswaran or something. I don't know. We should look it up. Wait, someone should look it up. And that someone will be me, but later. Or someone else now. I am really excited for this scenario, but I have a feeling that what I've done with Tony is not going to pay off in this scenario. It's going to pay off down the road. So maybe it's a make the best of a bad situation. But, you know, maybe that's how Tony rolls. A heavy, ominous feeling haunts you as you explore St. Mary's Hospital. Its halls are eerily dark and empty of everything but the occasional orderly making the late-night rounds. Lights flicker, and shadows seem to dart from corner to corner. The hospital's maze of corridors has begun to take on an almost dream-like haziness. You notice yet another spider crawling up your leg, and you brush it away, wondering what's causing them to appear so often. To Doom. Act 1A. Looking for answers. Something is wrong with your companions, and while medical science has come far, it can't account for what's happening to them. You've decided to take it upon yourself to figure out what is wrong and set things right. 4 clues, which is a bit of a tall order, but we'll see. Tony, as I've mentioned before, his job is to hunt, and therefore he has become quite adept at uncovering tracks and traces, hunting down creatures and answers. That's what he does. And yet this is very unusual for him. He tries to rely only on his guts and his instincts and his Colts and his weapons. But sometimes he has to rely on the contacts he's made along the way. And while he is well connected, and he should be able to leverage some of those contacts. He's also, this is the basic weakness I drew for myself, indebted. This is, in a lot of ways, actually, this is a very interesting weakness. Most basic weaknesses in Arkham take 2 actions to clear, like double action clear it. And just keep it around and see what happens if you don't. This is a permanent flaw, so it starts in play, you can't get rid of it, and it just says you start each game with 2 fewer resources. Now, some investigators don't mind if they have fewer resources. Tony does. So this is a pretty bad draw. I could just take 2 actions to take 2 resources. Then I'm even again. But tempo, right? So we'll see if we can make good on this. Apparently a 2-parter. Oh, fun. That's fun, Crosshair. Thank you for looking that up. Debt is bad, but he's got his bounty contracts, and I'm sure he'll find something to hunt today. So we start on 3 resources. Let's draw our opening hand. We're looking for clues. Let's get doomed. Okay. I love Crystallizer. That's good. And I think... So this is 3 weapons. A Switchblade, a Mauser, and Tony's Long Colt, which is his other signature asset. He has 2 Long Colts in his deck, which are pretty sweet. I think I'm going to keep them. I'm keeping the Crystallizer of Dreams. I'm glad I drew this, because this is the other story element here. This is a strange relic brought back from the Dreamlands by Luke Robinson and gifted to Tony a year or so ago. Tony's always incredibly worried when his partner ventures off into the Dreamlands. He can't follow him. He can't save him as something goes wrong. And so Luke gifted him this strange thing. I mean, look at it. What is this? It seems to be some sort of skull encased in glass with, I don't know, dreams coming out of it. He promised Tony that if he had this on him, that he'd be able to tap into the power of Luke in the Dreamlands. Mechanically, when you play it, you have to shuffle a copy of Guardian of the Crystallizer into your deck, which is an enemy. Great. But it says after you play an event, attach it face down to Crystallizer of Dreams instead of discarding it. They may be committed to skill tests as if they were in your hand. So you play the event, then you get to keep it and commit it a second time, which is great. Honestly, I'll take that for sure. But I need events that are useful in order to recommit them. So, I'm actually going to... I don't want to get rid of the Long Colt. I'm going to get rid of the Switchblade. That feels bad. It's okay. Here we go. Okay, not... pretty rough. It's okay. That's okay. Let's have a look. The waiting room is a 3-shroud, 1-clue location. In the corner of the windows... Yeah, exactly, Crosshair. In the corner of the windows, silken webbing creeps across the glass, spun almost of its own accord. Was that there when you first arrived? Well, waiting room is not infested. I don't know what that means. It gains action resign. You flee the hospital, leaving your companions behind. Yikes. Don't think I want to do that. We'll just leave Luke and what's her name? Witten. I always forget her name. Witten Green. We'll just leave Luke and Witten behind, I think. Well, exactly, Crosshair. You're like, what? And of course, it doesn't tell you what that means, right? Now, yeah, let's do it. I think this is the right play. The very first thing Tony is going to do naturally is is have a look around this space. He's investigating the space and treating it as if you treated, the way he treats a crime scene. He's looking for clues as to where people may have been taken, where people may have gotten to. He's noticing a lot of cobwebs along the walls, as has been pointed out, and he's noticed that some of the lights are starting to flicker and go out, more so from the west and north ends of the hospital, implying that perhaps people are holed up more to the east. This gives me a clue for free, so I'm just going to grab it. Boop. And then I'm going to move. Where are we going to go? A plaque next to the door of this room reads, Records. Underneath that, another sign warns, Staff Only. So the Staff Only Records office, The emergency room, you peek into the emergency ward and find several other rooms besides the ones where your companions are being kept. And the experimental therapies ward. A sign over this hallway reads, experimental therapies. You're not sure what sort of remedies the staff at St. Mary's experiment with, and you're not sure you want to know. Ah, Carolyn's room. Exactly, which is why we will not be going there. Just kidding. This is Tony's... Hey, what are you talking about? We love Carolyn around these parts. Tony is examining this crime scene as he's kind of calling, Corzard, welcome to Doomed, hello. We just started, we're just getting going. Tony Morgan, the bounty hunter, here, is looking into the strange goings-on at the hospital to try to see what's happening to his friends. Well, his lover, Luke Robinson, and his friend, Witten Green. If there's any information about an infestation, it would be kept in the records office. It doesn't make sense that there would be any records of an infestation, of course, but that's where Tony's going to go, right? I feel like that makes the most sense. We're going to move up to the records office and have a look. This is a 3-shroud, 2-clue location. Shelves of folders line the walls of this room, and for some strange reason, they are completely waterlogged. You notice that the ceiling is partially collapsed due to mold and rot, and water drips from the ceiling onto the floor. Webs stick to your shoes with every step you take. It has a triple action if you're not engaged with any enemies. One at a time, take 4 basic investigate actions. Now, we don't like the odds on that, because it's 3 shroud and I have 3 intellect, but we don't hate it. We don't hate it either. In the office here, Tony is absolutely also going to make sure that he has Luke's strange relic from the Dreamland. Luke once told him that it would manifest his powers in the waking world. Yeah, I don't know, Crosshair, right? It's not... Yeah, right? Like, it's about... That actually sounds about right. Yeah, 0 or +1. There's definitely at least 4 of those. Maybe another token, I don't know, something like that. Luke also once called this his crystallizer of dreams. He says, it's every dream I've ever had, encased in glass. Tony didn't really know what to make of that, so he didn't. We're going to Upkeep, where we refresh all of our actions, gain a resource, draw a card, which is another copy of Well Connected. Ridiculous. We go to 1 out of 2 Doom, and we draw our first encounter card right here in the records office. What you got? Uh-oh. This is Threads of Reality. Attached to the non-permanent, non-weakness asset you control with the highest printed cost. Treat attached asset as if its printed text box were blank. Action. Discard an asset you control to discard Threads of Reality. I mean, that sucks. So, as Tony removes the crystallizer of dreams, the strange relic, from his pocket, he is making sure he has it on him. He doesn't know what's going on. Strange happenings always seem to follow Luke and him around. But he notices the crystallizer is coming apart. It's still encased in glass. It's still perfectly safe. But it almost seems to be melting away, disappearing into strange... Exactly, written. Actually, that sounds wonderful. Yeah, can I get a glass of that whiskey that tastes like every dream I've ever had? That sounds good. So, what this card does, essentially, is blanks my crystallizer of dreams. I could play another one. Just plays over this one. It's actually not the worst idea, and then it would get rid of it. However, as we move back around to the investigation phase, I think what we're going to do... Ooh, that'd be pretty cool, Crosshair. Does that encourage you to write your dreams down so you get more flakes? I'm going to do this. If you're not engaged with any enemies, 1 at a time, take 4 basic investigate actions. The idea being to try to clear this location out. I have to get 2 of them out of 4. That's half. And I definitely have less than 50% success chances, so it doesn't feel great, but I can commit an icon here for one of them. I mean, it's unlikely, isn't it, Crosshair? If I had to call that right now, I'd say practically impossible. Excuse me. Tony is going to hunt feverishly through this waterlogged, moldy, rotten records office. What's happened here? What sink or tub collapsed upstairs that caused this deluge of water, and why is nobody here? So we're just testing 3 to 3. Okay, that's an elder sign. That's a good thing. +2, place a bounty on bounty contracts. Woohoo! I'm going to do that. So that's one of the clues. We're going to go again. I now am committed to the triple action. Actually, so I'm just going to spend the 3 actions here. I'm committed to them, to doing the, you can't stop midway through. Second action, we're going to investigate again, 3 to 3. It's a skull. Skulls are -1. That's no. Ah. That's really interesting, written. I always wondered whether that was, you know, European/American spelling thing. That's really interesting. But of course, right? And of course, yeah. Because, you know, you can have bourbon whiskey, or you can have, like, Scotch whiskey, or yeah. Fascinating. Well, Crosshair, not too bad yet. That's 2 out of 4. Third, 0. 3 to 3. Tony's pulling records up here. It's going okay. I should just mention in passing, team, the for those of you who are on the stream right now, and hopefully I'll be able to remember to cut this out of the... It doesn't matter if I cut this out of the VOD. The call I took before was actually for a plumber, which I know sounds like the beginning of a porno or something. I swear to you it's not. We're having a plumbing sort of like thing happening today. So if you hear talking and smashing and things in the background, it's just the plumber. Yeah, Roger Twy coming in hot. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. You'll love to see it. Roger Twy, hi and welcome to Doomed. I love it. Yeah, India Kilo Roger, am I right? My last investigate I have to take as well, 3 of 3. That's a fail, but that's okay. Tony manages to pull some records out that are not completely ruined, and finds out, and doesn't find anything else, and retreats from the records office, hoping to see what he's found. The records he found point towards other people who have had these strange afflictions of dreams, much like Luke and Witten are having right now, back in the emergency ward, and it infers that some of them have been moved, but he's not sure where to yet. No, I did 4. Elder sign, skull, 0, -2. Maybe you missed one. Maybe I missed one. Hell. Maybe I didn't say one is what I mean. But anyway, those were the 4 results I pulled. Also, come on, what do you want from me, huh? Hey. So we move back to the upkeep phase where we draw a card, gain a resource. It's a mouser. This is such a ridiculous weapon. Rogues have the so Guardians are the, like, fighty class, right? They have... Oh, 2 seconds, actually, sorry. Close the door. Or else it's really gonna sound like a madhouse out there. Just kidding around. Guardians have a lot of the sort of fighty weapons in Arkham. The flamethrowers and the lightning guns and the 45 automatics and the, you know, survival knives and whatever. Rogues have, like, some shotguns, but they also have this, which is like a machine pistol. Just straight up. It's just straight up. Okay, upkeep, good, we've done that, and we go to 2 out of 2 Doom, and we advance. Agenda 1B, Unsettling Developments. As you continue to explore the hospital, the oddities you have observed become more and more frequent. Thick, dark cobwebs now cover the corners of every room. Spiders crawl along the walls and the ceiling, emerging from seemingly nowhere and vanishing just as quickly. It's not just your imagination. An infestation of spiders has taken root within the hospital. Not just any spiders, no. They are larger than average, with long, jagged, barbed legs and great, hairy abdomens. Perhaps even more worrying is the complete lack of hospital staff roaming the halls. aside from several wary and frightened orderlies, you see no other staff members. Not even nurses or doctors. Where's everyone gone? Shuffle the set-aside Spider's encounter set and set aside copies of Outbreak into the encounter deck, along with the discard pile. So we're adding... I don't know what's wrong with my game. It doesn't seem to want to, like, respond. Oh, I know what's wrong. Doy. I figured out how to turn off the heads-up display, but then you can't do things like search. So, you know, Spider's encounter set. Ah! Outbreak. Ah! Shuffle them in. As I mentioned, folks, for those who are just arriving, there's a content warning. Today's stream has to do with spiders, if you haven't already noticed. Draw the set-aside The Infestation Begins story card and resolves its text. Crosser, there's a few things about the scenario and the deck that you're going to love, and I think this might be one of them. Place 1 damage token on the location with the most clues. Okay? Well, no locations have a damage token on them, so I'm going to put it right here at the records office, just for funsies. Because that's where he was, right? For the remainder of the... Actually, is that a good idea? Sorry, I know that's a bad idea. I'm going to put it in the waiting room instead. That's where the infestation begins. I am editing it a little bit here. For the remainder of the scenario, damage tokens on locations represent the spreading infestation. Oh yes, if there's 3 or 4 players, the 2 locations with the most clues. So you put 2 of them down. But thankfully there's only 1 investigator in the game. Each location with a damage token on it is an infested location. Create a separate bag consisting of the following tokens. If you don't have a second bag, use another thing, blah, blah, blah. This is the Infestation Bag. These are infestation tokens. They are not chaos tokens. So that's, of course, already been done because this mod is fantastic. Here's the Infestation Bag. Look at that. Beautiful. It's the same art on the Chaos Bag, but without the blood splatter. Some abilities will instruct the players to make an infestation test. An infestation test may cause the infestation to spread to other locations or endanger investigators at infested locations. To resolve an infestation test, investigator must reveal a random token from the infestation bag and resolve the effects for that token as indicated on the other side of this card. Flip this card over and place it next to the scenario reference card. So, taking an infestation test. In this bag, as has been mentioned, are some tablets, some cultists, and a skull. Use these results only when revealing. So even though it uses the same tokens as the game, this is a separate thing, and we're going to track them separately. Skulls. Set this token aside. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a spider enemy, and spawn it at the location, the infested location nearest to any investigator. Tablet. Set this token aside. Nothing happens. Cultist. Set this token aside. Choose a location connected to an infested location. That location becomes infested. Put a damage token on it. Then if there are 2 or more cultists, set aside, return all of the set aside tokens to the infestation bag. So, there's a really fun element. Exactly. Nothing... There's a really fun element of RNG to this infestation. There's nothing to be done about it. You're drawing tokens whenever it tells you to. And sometimes nothing will happen. Sometimes the infestation spreads, and sometimes... you get spider enemies. Agenda 2A. The infestation spreads. A monstrous presence has infested St. Mary's. It lies inside the walls and watches you from all sides. In mere minutes, it's spun thick, sticky webbing throughout each of the rooms you visit. Yikes. The lights are either flickering or out across the hospital, and some of the more advanced medical machinery is broken and covered in cobwebs. Forced, at the end of the mythos phase, make an infestation test. Every round. Now that's a good time. 6 doom. I should point out, Tony's not... Like I said before, he's a hunter. When he's looking for information, he's not trying to interpret old texts or like interview scholars or like, you know, decipher runes. He's looking for who was here, who died here, where did they go, how can I find them, right? And the records he's managed to pull has moved him in that direction. But something he doesn't understand, and I think this is an important point here, this infestation that's taking over the hospital, is it connected to Luke and Witten? We don't know. We don't know, and neither does Tony. First, of course, it is the mythos phase, which means we have to draw a card and perform an infestation test. And then we have to figure out where we're going to get our last clue and what to do after that. So we're going to draw our encounter card. Tony is here in the records office, and he is preparing to make a break for it. We ready? We're getting doomed. Here we go. Oh, nope. Here we go. I didn't hit record. It's fine. I'll grab it from the VOD. Pachow! From around the corner, a man, just a normal hospital orderly, suspicious look in his eye, approaches Tony. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? The man asks. Tony narrows his eyes and tries to explain briefly what he's doing, but the orderly doesn't understand why he was in the staff-only office. This is a suspicious orderly, a hunter. Suspicious orderly cannot attack, be attacked, or be dealt damage. When it is engaged with you, you cannot investigate. So for now, the suspicious orderly will follow us around or hunt us if we manage to evade it, which we're not going to because Tony's not about evading. This man, who maybe might be me, possibly, with a mask on? Is that me? This man is very suspicious and is going to pursue Tony through the halls of the office. Plus side, doesn't deal damage. Downside, can't investigate. It's the Dr. Surgeon! We're going to draw now first infestation test of the game. It's a classic. The Cultist. Set this token aside. Choose a location connected to an infested location. That location becomes infested. Place a damage token on it to mark this. Then if there are 2 or more set aside, return all of those set aside tokens to the bag. As the orderly interrogates Tony, I think this is... Do I want to go somewhere else? No, I'm going to do that. As he interrogates Tony, Tony notices that the lights are flickering behind him, and when they come back on, suddenly there's spiderwebs all along the walls in the records office. They are thick and they are everywhere, and he just doesn't know what to do. It's background to us. So my problem is I don't really have any resources. I could play another I could play the Crystallizer of Dreams out to get rid of this one, but I don't have any events, so it doesn't really do anything for me. Tony would probably want a weapon, but I don't have enough money. So I could take resources, or I could draw. I think that's what I'm going to do. Tony's looking for options as he tries to duck aside from the suspicious orderly. Draw 1. See, that's a good card. This is Intel Report. Discover a clue at your location. Ah! Gentlemen! Gunnar, hello. Welcome to Doomed. We're just getting back into it because on Saturday I had to cut the stream very short for reasons. Intel Report says, discover a clue at your location. Increase its cost by 2 to discover 2 clues, or increase its cost by 2 to change at your location to at a location up to 2 connections away. This is a classic pay money for information. And this is Tony's bread and butter. And the question is whether... Now, this would be great to put on Crystallizer of Dreams. When you play it, get some clues, also get some intellect icons. Not bad. Let's see. That was my first action, was to draw. That's a good card. Where do we want to go? There's the emergency room. You peek into the emergency ward and find several other rooms besides the ones where your companions are being kept. And of course, the experimental therapies ward. You're not sure what sort of remedies the staff at St. Mary's experiment with, and you're not sure you want to know. Tony would want to go there. The reports that he managed to find in the office don't make specific mention of where the other patients were taken, but it seems like a pretty good bet that they would have been moved to something known as the experimental therapies ward. So I'm going to move once for an action. The suspicious orderly is engaged with me, but it doesn't do damage. So he just follows you around. You can't investigate. He's not looking for anything. And I'm going to move again into experimental therapies wards. The room is filled with beds, each one surrounded by a partition curtain. High-tech machines sit next to each bed, ready to administer all sorts of radical treatment. Thank you, the crosshair. You may take an additional action during your turn, which can only be used to engage or fight an enemy with one or more bounties on it. Unfortunately, so I can put bounties on enemies when they enter play, but the suspicious orderly cannot be attacked or dealt damage, so there's not really... There wouldn't be a point in... Because I can't take an extra action with it, so there's no point in putting a bounty on him. Anyway, who would put a bounty on this lovely suspicious orderly here? He's just trying to do his job. You know, there's spiders all over the hospital. What's this guy up to? Experimental Therapies Ward is a 4-shroud 2-clue location. It says when you investigate it, you may take a horror. It gets -2 shroud for this investigation. But of course, I can't investigate when I have this dude with me here. He's running after Tony, trying to get him to stop. Yeet! Oh, hold up, though. Cannot be dealt damage. Now, I will... Well, no, I won't say anything more. That's just unfortunate. You have to evade him, or you can't investigate. Now, I think there's a way around that. But we're going to find out. Because I don't have any evasion. I mean, sorry, I have 2. I'm not going to do it, though. That was the end of my turn. We've moved into a new location, which hopefully will hold answers. In the enemy phase, nothing happens. The orderly is following Tony, trying to figure out what he's up to. And then in upkeep, we draw a card and gain a resource. It's another copy of Intel Report. I have 7 cards in hand. None of them... Oh, they're all way too expensive. And move back to the mythos phase, where we put 1 doom on the agenda. We draw an encounter card. And then we perform an infestation test. In the experimental therapies ward, from beneath the bed, one of the beds, suddenly, a horrific arm emerges. Tony is immediately transported back to the seaside town of Innsmouth, where he encountered a fish monster man creature. His bounty, his responsibility. And for a brief moment, he is utterly frozen, terrified that this is the same creature. And then blink and it's gone. Glimpse of the underworld, put it into play in your threat area. When you would take damage and or horror, take an additional damage or horror. Free trigger, discard Glimpse of the Underworld, then take 1 damage and 1 horror. Yikes. Well, I might do that. And then we're going to perform an infestation test. Draw a token. This is a tablet. Oh, sorry. I'll put them in order here so we can kind of see what we've had. Tablet is just set this one aside, so we're good. Background to us. Boop. Now what I want to do is get both clues off this location with Intel Report. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. It'd be nice to play a new Crystallizer of Dreams. And then I'd have to take 2 resources and play Intel Report, so I can't this turn. I could just have sort of a nice setup turn here as we investigate the ward. I mean, the first thing we're going to do, Tony is going to deliberately turn away from the bed that he saw the creature under and just shake it off. He's going to get rid of this thing. Skull is 1. Yes, yes. Sorry, Crosshair, I didn't actually read this properly. 2 cost. Discover a clue at your location. When you play Intel Report, increase its cost by 2 to make it discover 2 clues. You can also increase its cost by 2, additionally, if you so choose, to make it not at your location, but up. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, yes, Crosshair, I should have been clear. So hopefully, I'm hoping to pay 4 and just snap both these clues off, because it's not investigating, so the suspicious orderly can't be mad at me. First thing we're going to do, Tony is turning away from the bed, and he's shaking off the feeling of fear that he felt. I'm going to discard it. I'm going to take a damage and a horror. Nice and dangerous. I think I'm just going to take a nice good old setup turn. Take 2 resources, play the new crystallizer down. As an additional cost to play this card, you must search your bonded cards for a copy of Guardian the Crystallizer and shuffle it into your deck. Well, I can't. So maybe I can't do that. I think I'm just going to get rid of this for now. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So first action, seeing that the strange relic from the Dreamlands is coming apart at the seams, Tony is going to put it away. He's got a massive trench coat, lots of pockets, and despite the fact that this represents a connection to his partner, it's not helping. Yeah. Well, this is the question, Crosshair. I don't have a second copy. I mean, I don't have a second copy. Obviously, the game has a second copy. But this is the question. Can you just go and, like, have more copies of the same thing? I don't want to have 2 enemies in my deck. So I don't want to play it right now. But that's okay. It feels bad, but I will discard an asset you control. Yeah, I'll discard Crystallizer of Dreams. That's an asset I control. Yeah, done. So he's going to put the Crystallizer of Dreams away for now. It's an unfortunate byproduct of the situation, but it's just going to have to live with it. I am then going to take 2 resources as we prepare for the coming onslaught, as it were. We've still got this suspicious orderly here. He's watching Tony, looking for his friends and looking for the doctor, but of course Tony is trying to find any information about where other patients may have been put. They certainly don't seem to be in this room, but it would be hard without getting a closer look. So we go to the enemy phase, and then straight into the upkeep phase. The suspicious orderly does not attack. I draw a card and gain a resource. I have 8 cards in hand. I'm going to just organize my hand. Events, skills, so well connected, and weapons right in the middle. Take the initiative. That's a great card. I'll allow it. I could even use this to evade, but I wouldn't want to. Go back to the mythos phase. I'm moving very slowly, but so is Tony. It's okay. We go to 2 out of 6 doom. Draw an encounter card. I was worried about this. This is Rotting Remains. A sickening display of gore causes you to retch. You're glad this wasn't you. Tony manages to step out of the line of sight of the orderly for just long enough to peel back one of the curtains in this experimental therapies ward. What used to be the body of a young person is on the bed, but it is no longer fully recognizable as human. Not only is it seemingly long dead, but there is a sickening display of creatures swarming over it. Spiders. Tony takes a reflexive step back and tries to ready one of his weapons. I have to test Will 3. For each point you fail by, take a horror. If your deck contains a card which summons one or more bonded cards, those bonded cards should be set aside at the start of each game. If you have nothing in your bonded cards, you can't. There you go. That makes sense. That makes sense, Crosshair. Thank you. Thank you for looking that up. So, just to be clear then, I can't play this Crystallizer of Dreams because as an additional cost, I have to add Guardian of the Crystallizer. It's okay though, because when I draw it, it'll just whiff anyway, which is fine. I'm okay with that. It's a bit annoying, but I have to succeed this Rotting Remains test because I can't have Tony take any horror. Okay, so I don't want to get too far into rules legalese here, Crosshair, but now we need to go and check the pack of cards. Were there 2 copies of Guardian that came with the 2 copies of Crystallizer? Yeah, probably. Okay. Well, anyway, okay. So I'm leaving. I'm closing the conversation for now. You're absolutely right. I will go into my deck, copy the. Actually, I'll just do that right now. I'll copy this, I'll put a copy over there, I'll put this back in my deck, I'll shuffle my deck. So I can, but I won't. I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not going to specifically burden myself with another enemy for no reason, right? Like, it just doesn't, it just doesn't make sense. I could for the money purposes, but right now, we're just trying to survive here. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. The key here, though, is that Tony needs to survive seeing this spider-ridden corpse. So I am testing 2 will to 3 will, and I'm going to commit take the initiative to this, which has 3 wild icons on it. Tony takes a step back, and then he realizes that he's the only one here who is going to be doing anything. The orderly is obviously way over his head. Tony's going to take a nearby pole. What are those called? Like an IV drip, and use it to sweep across the body and try to knock some of these creatures away. So I'm testing 5 to 3 to try to not take any horror. -1, success. They scatter and vanish into the wall. Yikes. And we have to make an infestation test. Of course. Draw. Ka-chow. Set this token aside. And we're back around. Okay. This is a bit better. It's a bit better now. First action. Without investigating, we're going to use Intel Report and pay 4 to get 2 clues off this location. Tony manages to... well, he approaches the suspicious orderly and notices that the orderly had been marking papers, reports of some of the people, some of the patients that had been checked in here. Tony manages, through a little bit of misdirection, he manages to slip some of the papers away and step away, heading back towards the waiting room, but just ducking around a corner. And then he has a read. Let's see what these papers do, shall we? I'm going to spend 4 of my clues in advance. Right now. Because yeah, it's 4 clues to advance the act. Act 1B, a promising lead. This is obviously from the report he just stole off of the guy, the orderly. From hospital records and snippets of hushed conversation, you're able to glean that there was recently another patient in the hospital whose condition closely mirrored that of your friend's. After being comatose for weeks, the patient abruptly and inexplicably awakened just this morning. Baffled, the doctors have quarantined the patient somewhere in the basement of the hospital, below the eastern ward. Put the set-aside stairwell and basement door locations into play, which I will do right away. Basement doors and stairwell, and then we'll see where these connect here. The stairwell is orange. It is connected to the therapies ward, so I'll put it right there. Whoops. And the basement doors, I think, are all the same. Yep. They're all connected to the stairwell, sure. So I'm going to put them all below because they're, below. I'm going to just do this. So there's a stairwell here. Through an unmarked door in the hall behind the experimental therapies ward, a dark staircase leads deeper into the hospital. Right. Check the current agenda. If it is agenda 2 or 3, make an infestation test. A classic. Let's do it. Draw a token. Skull. Set this token aside. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a spider enemy and spawn it at the infested location nearest to any investigator. Well, there's 2 infested locations right now. The waiting room is the one that we're looking for. I happen to know the encounter sets pretty well. In terms of spider enemies, there's Swarm of Spiders, and there's also a biggin, the Spider of Leng. I don't think I want that, because that's kind of a biggin. I'm going to take Swarm of Spiders and spawn it in the waiting room, which is the infested location closest to any investigator. This is a spider creature. It has Swarming 2. So that means it gets 2 of my cards attached to it as copies of that enemy. It doesn't have Hunter, so they're just kind of swarming around in the waiting room. X, it's evasion. Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you, Crosshair. I appreciate that. X equals the number of swarm of spiders enemies at this location, including swarm cards. So they are 1/1/3s, all of them. Now an enemy just entered play, so I can move bounties to any of them, up to a maximum of their health. So I can put one on this swarm of spiders. I could put one on each of them. I kind of want to save my bounties for bigger guys. What do bounties do? Just as a reminder. When you defeat an enemy with one or more bounties on it, in addition to it letting you access that extra action, you take the bounties as resources. So obviously Tony is looking to make someone pay for taking down these spiders. He's probably going to try to invoice St. Mary's after all this is over, he thinks to himself. A little wryly. Tony's Long Colt gets a bonus if you're dealing with people with bounties on them, which is pretty sweet. Okay. So I've spawned my swarm of spiders here. I've put a resource on one of them to indicate that it is a bounty enemy. No, Gunner. Tony is the exterminator. They're going to pay him later. I do like it, though. Okay, let's read Act 2A. Act 2A, Search for the Patient. You need to learn where this mysterious patient is being kept. If you can find them and speak with them, perhaps they can provide some answers about what is happening to your friends. Objective, if an investigator controls Randolph Carter, advance. Now, they told me the patient was somewhere in the basement, so that's where I gotta go. And that's where Tony's gotta go. Suspicious, orderly, or no. I still need more money, but I don't have a good way of getting it. I could draw a card here. That seems pretty safe. Before I move on to this basement stairwell, I'm gonna draw a card. Beautiful. This is part of the money I was looking for. I'm gonna play this last action. I hope I don't get hit with another Threads of Fate. I should have left Crystallizer blank. No, it's fair. Lone Wolf is an asset that I think we saw a lot of when I was playing Seth through Carcosa. When your turn begins, if there are no other investigators at your location, gain a resource. I don't mind being on my own. That's when I do my best work. Tony is, of course, a lone wolf. He's set off on this crusade alone. He didn't want to bring the doctor with him, just in case, she got into trouble. That's it. That would be pretty weird. That would be an interesting coincidence, I should say, Luke. I do enjoy that, both characters on both sides have, references to your name, though. That's kind of fun. Okay, so that was, a long way to start getting money, but at least it's something. The orderly continues to eye Tony. As we move to the enemy phase, the swarm of spiders, weirdly enough, does not hunt. That's okay. The upkeep phase, where we draw a card and gain a resource. Crosshair, this is not a good card, but it's a fun card, and I will be playing it. You'll love it. This is 21 or Bust, which just came out, so it's probably why we haven't seen it before. One at a time, reveal random tokens from the Chaos Bag until you choose to stop. 21 or Bust, of course, is a reference to, a game called 21 or Blackjack, wherever you're from. Treat each Skull, Cultist, Tablet, or Elder Thing as a 5, the Tentacle as a 10, and the other sign as a 1 or an 11. If the combined value of those tokens, so ignoring the plus or the minus, and then you gain resources based on how close to 21 you are. But if you go over, you get nothing. Classic gambling card. Is it good? No. Is it good? I don't. It's strange, is what it is. Oh, good times. Okay. But we have it now, which is potential money. Move back into the mythos phase. Tony is eyeing the door to the stairwell down and wondering if he can make a break for it from this orderly. Whispers, suddenly, emanating from the room. The orderly doesn't seem to hear them. No god or demon could have aspired to discoveries and conquests like those which we planned in whispers. Yes, I shall have 4 names. All right, what's your new name gonna be? Not name, names. I'll have 4, please. It's a lot of names. Most of us are. Frankly, I'm not even happy with the 3 that I have. They're just it's my name, Good on you though, Luke. I say party. Whispers of Hypnos is a terror. Peril. Treachery. Choose a skill. For the remainder of the round... there you go. Oh, yeah, sure, why not? For the remainder of the round, each investigator, there's only one, gets -2 to that skill. You cannot choose a skill that has already been chosen by a copy of this effect this round. So for a whole round, I'm going to have -2 will, intellect, combat, or agility. I'm going to choose agility. The whispers emanating from the room seem to trip and tangle Tony's feet as he realizes something much more than an infestation of beasts is happening here. I'm going to draw a token from the bag. It's another tablet. I think there's 2 left, and I think there was 1 cultist and 1 tablet, but this is just set this token aside. It's background to us. We gain a resource from Lone Wolf. I mean, I have to, right? I have to do this. I'd feel really dumb if I didn't do this. I'm going to play 21 or bust. This is so dumb. Tony is ready to take a gamble. The whispers, the orderly, the spiders, it's all come down to this. He could run back, try to grab his 2 friends, and just run them out of the hospital, but there's no way he's carrying 2 people, let alone through all the spider webs and creatures here. Ah, there you go. That's fun. There's no way he's going to make it. He could just run out the front door, but he's not going to leave them behind either, at least not unless it gets really dire. So he needs to take a gamble. Let's see what happens when Tony takes a gamble. So, 1 at a time, reveal random tokens from the Chaos Bag until you choose to stop. I'm aiming to get as close to 21 as possible without going over. Certain tokens are worth certain amounts. Crosshair, count them up with me, okay? Here we go. That's worth 2, not the minus. Plus, except is ignoring plus and minus. So, that's worth 2. I'll draw another. Haha, okay, actually, not bad. That's the tentacle's worth 10, so that's 12. Draw again. A cultist is worth 5. That's 17. Okay, this is where it gets tricky. Because if I draw another 5, I bust. But I have to. Because otherwise... Okay, well, I could stop. And I would net 2 resources. I could go again. What am I at right now? 17? I could go again and potentially get an additional resource. I need to. I'm gonna go again. Tony's really taking a gamble. Damn it! I knew that was gonna happen. So I... So disappointing. So I bust. Nothing happens. Damn it. See, this is why I don't like this game. No, I do love it, but that's why that card is silly. It encourages risky behavior. That's all right. That's all right. Disappointing, but fine. We're gonna move down into the stairwell. The risk, he figures, doesn't pay off. He's gonna keep it nice and easy. Crosshair, I fully agree with you. I'm just frustrated because, like, my whole deck runs on money, and I don't have any. I mean, also, there's other things that my deck runs on, but, like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? After you enter stairwell from a non-basement location, move to a basement location. Then test agility 4. If you fail, take 2 damage. So you can yeet yourself down the stairs. Forced. After stairwell becomes infested, make an infestation test. So this infestation spreads down the stairway quickly as well. It's a 3-shroud, 1-clue location. I can't investigate here. So, and I have 9 health. So I'm going to do it. Well, I would definitely fail. What would happen? I would maybe make another infestation test. I would take 2 damage. But it's a free move, and we need to get down to the basement. Let's do it. Tony is going to throw himself over the banister and try to drop down to the lower level. Yeet! Move to a basement location. I will reveal this in a moment. No, I'll reveal it now. Okay, I'll look at that in a... Yeah, I'll look at that in a second. Then test agility 4. If you fail, take 2 damage. Well, I have 0 agility because of the whispers from the place upstairs. So I'm going to test 0 to 4. Cool. It's my old friend, the -2. So we take 2 damage. Tony lands hard on his left leg. He's okay. He's up and at him. Oh, thanks, Luke. You know what? Because here's the thing. As I've said many times on these streams, I don't stream this game with an eye on, like, explaining everything that's going on, and it's a complex kind of game anyway. I do it for the purposes of storytelling. And then also I do end up talking a lot about the mechanics because you kind of have to a certain extent. If I didn't, people would have no idea what's going on. Totally cool, Luke, as long as you don't mind that I won't necessarily respond to everything if I'm in the middle of another thought. Okay, so we landed hard on our leg, took 2 damage, and ended up here in the private room. The patient you've been looking for sits on a bed in the middle of this dark room. You ask him about his condition, but he merely replies, "Why should I help you? You'd never believe me anyway." This is rough. Action, parlay. Test will 2. If you succeed, test intellect 2. If you succeed, investigators at this location may spend 1 clue as a group to give control, of the set aside Randolph Carter to an investigator at this location. Now, I would love to pass this test. There is very little chance as of now, but that's okay. You never know, right? You might pull a 0 here or there. I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. Since we can circumnavigate the card rule by buying 5 copies, the rules never were meant to be removed from play since you can have 500 million. So house rule it or not, add remove from game. Okay, right, okay. So yes, I guess so Crosshair, I can think what you're saying, and I think it does make sense. I should read that FAQ more closely. They cover so many cards, right? I think what you're saying is basically it wasn't intended that you should have more than the copies that were provided to you, and therefore they should just disappear. So essentially, the number of copies that you have are the number of copies you start with is the number of copies you have, is what I'm choosing to read there. It also makes sense to me. Tony is absolutely shocked that he somehow managed to choose the correct room. The light in here is dim and pallid, and the man sitting on the bed looks at him confusedly. Tony's going to have to try to convince him, and frankly, he's probably not going to do a very good job, but we're going to try anyway. I'm going to test 2 to 2. Yeah, it's not worth committing to this test. I'm just going to test 2 to 2. Yeah, no, it's my old friend, the -2. Enemy phase. The suspicious orderly is still here. He's coming down the stairs behind Tony, but as of yet, nothing has happened. Upkeep. We draw a card and gain a resource. Oh, it's my patron, Dario Elamin. You recognize Dario. While you have 10 or more resources. Like, I would love this, but that's just not going to happen today. What do I got here? 7 cards in hand? That's okay. We discard Whispers of Hypnos because it was only for the remainder of the round. We go to 4 out of 6 Doom as Tony stares down this man and tries to figure out how to talk to him. We draw an encounter card. Night Terrors. This is there was another card similar to this one. I don't think we've seen it yet this game. After you fail a skill test, haha. So, Revelation, put it into play in your threat area. After you fail a skill test, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Draw each weakness revealed this way, and remove the other cards from the game. Yikes, because I will be failing a whole bunch. It's the Grudge! That's exactly what this is. Hundo percento. I love it. Action. If Night Terrors is in your threat area, test will 4. After this test end, discard Night Terrors, even if you fail. So, of course, it'll get you at least once, which is just... We make an Infestation Test. Another tablet. Set this token aside. Not bad, frankly. Let me go back. We gain a resource from Lone Wolf. And we sit here and try to figure out what to do. Well, it's true, Crosshair. I don't think that's a possibility because... I only have 2 willpower, and it's like will 4. The Elder Sign is +2. You make a good point. I can definitely throw a bunch into the intellect test. It's the will test I'm going to fail to try to talk to, try to parlay with Randolph Carter. But let's get rid of these night terrors first. Oops, sorry. Tony is beset by the sound of clicking boots behind him on the floor, which sounds an awful lot like the clicking of long claws. It is, of course, the same orderly hunting him, so he rushes to close the door to make sure he can't be found, talking to this man, Randolph Carter. But the fear of it is something that he's going to have to try to shake off. I'm going to do it, because I can't afford to keep removing cards from my deck. It's just, like, there's good stuff in there. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to test Will 4, so 2 to 4. Skull. -1, -3 instead if you're engaged with a staff enemy, which I am. So we fail. After this test ends, discard Night Terrors. So I have to reveal the top 3 cards of my deck. Sleight of Hand, remove it from the game. Glory, remove it from the game. Tony's other 38 Long Colt, remove it from the game. Sorry, I should be over here. These are the cards I just removed from the game. All gone. Bye-bye! Night Terrors have caused Tony to sort of briefly flinch and forget some of his experience and training. Now, I have 2 actions left, and I think I just have to try to... I don't think I have any other way to do this. I have to just try to succeed the parlay test, and then I can throw everything I have into the intellect test. It's probably the best way to do this. So, yeah, Tony is just going to try his best to shake Randolph out of whatever stupor he's in. Let's go. I have 2 will to 2. -1, that's a fail. So we fail. One more time. 2 to 2. Minus X. X is the number of infested locations, which of course is also 2, but soon to be more. Burp. Enemy phase. Upkeep phase. Draw a card, gain a resource. I don't know what to do. I could commit Crystallizer of Dreams. Well, once I have enough money, Well Connected is really going to help, but I won't have... I could just take money instead. We get a 5 out of 6 Doom as Tony is sitting here trying to figure out how to convince this man to come with him. Help me help my friends. Outbreak. Perform an infestation test. If you are at an infested location, treat each tablet as a skull. I'm not, but I still have to perform an infestation test. I know what it is. It's this Cultist, which is choose a location connected to an infested location. It becomes infested, which I will do. I'm going to put one over here on emergency. I want to keep it as far away from me as possible. I don't like it. It says then, if there are 2 or more cultists set aside, return all of them to the bag. Do that, shuffle it up. It's now the end of the mythos phase, so I have to make another infestation test right away. What do we get? A tablet. Good. Okay. It's background to us. Get a resource from Lone Wolf. Let's contemplate here. How can Tony try to convince this guy that everything... Oh, sorry. Crosshair, yes. Let's have a little readeroo. Then, if there are 2 or more cultist tokens set aside, return all set-aside infestation tokens to the bag. Can you imagine if it was just the cultists? Oh my god. Well, then it would just spread forever. Which would be... Yeah. Definitely better. Definitely better. Okay. By being well-connected, sometimes who you know is more important than how good you are. Yay! Hi, Paxmo. Thanks. I decided we needed a little holiday cheer. What's that? It's mid to late January? Shut up. I make the rules. I'm just kidding. You don't have to shut up, obviously. That was very aggressive. Welcome to Doomed. Content warning, spiders. Just, I realized that not everybody... Thank you, Paximo. Yes, I plan on wearing... Exactly. It's a holiday in some horrible universe. Tony Morgan is attempting to find aid from a stranger here in the basement of St. Mary's Hospital before he can return and try to help his friends. There are swarms of spiders everywhere, and it's just terrible. Okay. well-connected, would allow Tony to boost his skill. You get +1 skill value for every 5 resources you have. It would cost you to play it, blah, blah, blah. This is not good yet. This will be good later. I could commit the other Crystallizer of Dreams. F it, yeah? Yeah, let's do it. We're going to try to talk to Tony again, and reaching into his coat. It's strange, but perhaps if this man was where his lover, Luke, is now, perhaps he would recognize this strange relic from the Dreamlands. It's unlikely. I'm going to... it's very unlikely. I'm going to test now 3 to 2. A skull, which is normally -1, -3 if you're engaged with the staff enemy. Cool. So I think I'm just going to keep testing because I have to. Eventually, you got to get it, right? He's going to... Nope, -2. One more. This is horrible. There you go. Okay. Last action, 0. If you succeed, test Intellect 2. Randolph Carter looks up and looks into Tony's eyes, and he says, "Tell me again, why should I help you?" I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to commit hard to this test. I have 3 Intellect. It's 3 to 2. I'm going to make it 4 to 2, 5 to 2. Six to 2. That's dumb. That's fine. We're going to do it. 6 to 2. Tony stops explaining what he was going to do and then realizes that he needs to appeal to this man instead, using what he knows of Luke Robinson's journey. He says, "The Dreamlands, they're in trouble." Nice. -1. Okay. Thank God. I'm not built for this kind of... Tony's not built for this kind of work. If you succeed, you may spend 1 clue as a group to give control of the set-aside Randolph Carter asset to an investigator at your location. Thankfully, I have a clue. I'm glad I didn't even think about that. Good job, Scott. Let's take Randolph Carter, put him right there, and we'll have a little looky-loo. Randolph Carter, chained to the waking world, who is awesome, by the way. Looks great. He's an ally and a dreamer. 2 health, 3 sanity. You get +1 willpower and +1 intellect. Well, that would have been useful before, but I'll take them now, bud. Thanks. After a Elder Thing symbol is revealed during a skill test at your location, I can exhaust Randolph Carter to draw 2 cards, which I don't mind much either. And I believe the act advances if an investigator controls Randolph Carter. Advance. Act 2B. Carter's statement. I know. Well, I mean, here, sorry, Crosshair. Let's have a look at my stat line, right? I'm a 9/5. I can use the sanity. You know what I'm talking about? After some persuading, you manage to convince the blonde-haired man to listen to your story. A lot of persuading. Once you explain to him what has happened to your companions, he shakes his head in solemn understanding. I knew this Virgil fellow would cause trouble. If only I had convinced him not to write that story. You ask him what he means, and he lets out a long sigh before elaborating. It's all true. All of it. The Dreamlands is real. Yeah, no doubt. And I believe that something is causing it to merge with the waking world. That's where all of this is coming from, he explains, motioning to the spider webs in the corner of the room. With your help, I may be able to temporarily stop the infestation from spreading. Then we can investigate this matter further. He rises from his cot and shakes your hand. My name is Randolph, by the way. Randolph Carter. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Act 3A. Containing the Outbreak. With the aid of Randolph Carter, you must attempt to close the rifts that have opened between the Dreamlands and the waking world. Each infested location gains action, test, will, X, to attempt to seal the rift. X is the location's shroud. Investigators at this group may spend 1 clue as a group to automatically succeed. So if you found information about the hospital, you can kind of use that along with Randolph Carter's powers to seal rifts. I know. Well, hold on, Paximo. No one said he was living in a basement, okay? Look. No, I should just catch you up briefly on the story so far. Paximo's story so far, briefly. The dreamer Luke Robinson is off in the Dreamlands world. His lover/partner, Tony Morgan, is here in the waking world, protecting his sleeping body, and has ventured off to investigate the hospital where he's being kept because of the strange goings on, and found records of a man with a similar affliction who was being kept against his will, say, in the private room in the basement. I mean, so yeah. I realized that was really, like, intense, but I just wanted to be clear. We're not just in some hovel, okay? This is a hospital, all right? Ooh. Oh, boy. Did I ever live in a basement? No, I don't think so. Right. Okay. Test will X to attempt to seal the rift. X is the location shroud. We may spend a clue to automatically succeed. If you succeed, replace the damage token with a horror token. For the remainder of the game, it cannot become infested. Objective. If there are no infested locations in play, advance. There are currently 3. We need to get there. We need to uninfest them. Okay. That was the end of the investigation phase. I like it. Nice and solitude and dark. Just dirt. Oh, crosshair. We move to the enemy phase and then immediately on to the upkeep phase, because the suspicious orderly in the hall cannot attack, and the swarm of spiders does not hunt. Draw a card, gain a resource. It's Sleight of Hand! Sleight of Hand is a trick. Fast, put an item asset into play from your hand. If it's still in play, return it to your hand at the end of the turn. So, fast, you whip out a gun or a flashlight or a chainsaw or whatever. This was changed in a recent update. The cards are never changed, but there's an optional taboo list that I don't play with for the purposes of this stream, where Sleight of Hand, they changed it to read, put an item asset that takes up only one hand slot into play, because otherwise you're making a Tommy gun appear out of nowhere, you know. Oh, you can do so many things with this. Yeah. Now, like, the intention, of course, is that you're slighting something that takes up one hand. But, of course, it doesn't say that on the card. So, you know. Move back to the mythos phase, and we advance to agenda 2B. Suddenly, hell breaks loose. Suddenly, chaos breaks out in the hospital. The sounds of chittering and crashing emerges from the walls. In the darkness, you can barely make out the shapes of bizarre spider-like creatures scurrying in the distance. As you round a corner, you spot an orderly writhing on the polished floor, convulsing violently as though possessed by an insidious force. You rush to his side and flip him onto his back, and find that nearly all of his face is covered in thick webbing, and his eyes are wide and glazed over. He does not react as you shake him. Find each suspicious and orderly enemy in play and replace it with a set-aside corrupted orderly enemy. Right. Well, there's one in play. It's attached to me, so I will replace it with a corrupted orderly, which has really horrible art. Again, if anyone has arachnophobia, please don't look at this. Really horrendous art happening here, which I just don't like it. It's incredible. Okay. Now here's the question. Did this enemy just enter play? Or should I have put a bounty on it immediately? I've replaced the suspicious orderly with the corrupted orderly. I want it to have a token on it. Feel like I should. I'll think about it for a moment. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for each copy of suspicious orderly and replace them from the game. So I will do so. Yeah, that's what I like to hear, Crosshair. Yeah. So as it enters play, I'm going to put a bounty on it. Boom! Coming at you, buddy-o. Oh, I'm coming for you. Shuffle the set-aside Agents of Atlachnacha encounter set, each remaining set-aside corrupted orderly enemy, and the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Okay. Oh, we're going to hide that away, just so we don't know what's coming. Put another one in the deck here. Add one skull and one cultist to the infestation bag. Don't mind if I diggity-do. Copy-paste, copy-paste. Going back in, going back in. Horrible. Agenda 3A, Hospital of Horrors. The entire building has become infested with a sinister evil, something that does not follow the laws of nature. You need to find some way to either stop it or to escape before it consumes you too. Forced. At the end of the mythos phase, make an infestation test. Each spider enemy at an infested location gains +1 fight and +1 evade. So this infestation has provided us with more problems, perhaps. It's still the mythos phase, so we need to draw an encounter card. As okay, I understand, Crosshair. So yeah. So if I were to house rule it so that we could have infinite soothing melodies, I would also house rule it so that we would have infinite guardians or whatever bad stuff. Who cares? The corrupted orderly is a hunter. While it's dealt 1 or more damage at an infested location, cancel 1. So the infestation makes it stronger. Thankfully, the infestation's not down here in the basement yet. As Tony pokes his head around the corner, he sees the orderly rise to his feet. An absolute nightmarish vision. House rule of who cares is the best house rule. The man staggers to his feet and starts stumbling towards Tony, who is getting ready to deal with him. I'm wondering if I'm going to need a weapon. I could cheat a weapon into play this turn, or I could leave it. But we need to draw an encounter card, so we're going to do that first. Cool. Naturally, the sickening webs have descended upon Tony Morgan and Randolph Carter when they weren't looking. Attached to your location. Each spider enemy, like this guy, I'm going to attach it. Each spider enemy gains retaliate and alert. Investigators cannot move out of attached location. Test combat 3 or agility 3 if you succeed. Discard sickening webs. Well, now I definitely need to kill this guy. I need to perform an infestation test, so I will draw a token from the bag. Excuse me, sorry. I will draw a token from the bag. A skull. I need to search the encounter deck and discard pile for a spider enemy and spawn it at the infested location nearest to any investigator, which is either the waiting room or the emergency room. I'm going to find another swarm of spiders and put it right at the other room. And hopefully, I won't be able to get up there, but hopefully I can kind of make it a little bit longer here. Move back to the investigation phase where we gain a resource from Lone Wolf. Okay, before we start fighting this guy, we're going to take a quick little break, and we're going to be back in just 2 seconds. I'm very excited. Tony has managed to find someone who can help him, a fellow dreamer, much like Luke Robinson and Witten Green, and and he is ready to start trying to close up the I don't know, gaps in reality. He's ready to try to assist Randolph in closing and removing the infestation from this world. We're going to be back in 2 seconds and see how they get on. You must attempt to close the rifts that have opened between the Dreamlands and the waking worlds. Well, oh shoot, the spider entered play, so I'm going to put a bounty on it as well. Boop. May as well, because that money is going to be very useful. Oh, no. That is a good point, Crosshair. I honestly can't, I can't be mad at you for that. That's true. It's, No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you to furk off if I need you to. Don't worry about it. I think there are some rules that I, like, there are some things that I know but forget, and some things that I'm not sure about, and, like, some things that are not clear in the game. But we're gonna, play it for the story and for the possibility of at least trying to win the scenario. I don't want. I've already made a terrible mistake playing Tony, so we'll see. Before we can leave this blasted corridor and head back up to the main floor and try to put out the fires, as it were, close the rifts in the rest of the hospital, we've got to deal with this corrupted orderly. Now, it's got 2 health. So I think what I want to do, I'm going to cheat Tony's cult into play to give me more bounties. Give me another bounty. Sleight of Hand is a very useful card. Actually, no, I'll just play a card out. So I have it, right? And then I can... No, because then I may as well use Sleight of Hand. Sleight of Hand allows Tony to whip something out, so to speak. The Mauser is a machine pistol. You exhaust it and spend an ammo to fight. If you succeed by 2 or more, ready the Mauser or gain a resource. So you can potentially use it more than once if you're succeeding by a lot. Tony's Long Colt, his natural weapon of choice. Spend 1 ammo, fight. You get +1 combat for each bounty on the attacked enemy. If it deals +1 damage. If it defeats an enemy with 1 or more bounties, place a bounty on bounty contracts. Yeah, let's do it. Tony sees this horrific melding of insect and man coming towards him fast. He manages to distract the corrupted orderly long enough to be able to pull out of his pocket his Long Colt. He's going to manage to get a shot off here. I'm going to fire with the Long Colt. So, oh, sorry, this is my free action because I'm fighting an enemy with bounty. So spend an ammo, fight. +1 combat for each bounty on the attack enemy. It deals +1 damage. If it defeats an enemy with 1 or more bounties on it, place a bounty on it. So, great. Tony's, again, he manages to distract the creature person long enough to be able to get his Long Colt out of his jacket pocket and fire off a shot. I have 6 combat, 5 + 1 from the Long Colt, 6 to 2. Yeah, sure. The shot goes wide and the creature manages to leap at Randolph Carter. The Sickening Webs gives the creature retaliate and alert, so 1 damage and 1 horror. They go on Randolph. Sorry, buddy. Let's go again. We're gonna fire again. 6 to... Yeah, I hate to see it. That's what I usually say, Crosshair. We're gonna go again, 6 to 2. As Tony watches the creature tussle with Randolph, he's gonna take careful aim and try to get the shot off again. That's better. Succeed. The enemy is dead. It deals 2 damage. So the bounty becomes a resource. And because I defeated an enemy with bounties on it, I put a bounty on bounty contracts. Tony is recognized as a very powerful investigator because he fights well and gets money for fighting, which he can then turn into other things. I think it's cool from a story perspective of a bounty hunter being way in over his head. As we've already seen, we're kind of in trouble in terms of what Tony is able to actually accomplish, but we'll see what we can do. We're going to rush out of here. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to try to beat Sickening Webs. I can't leave if Sickening Webs is in place, so I'm going to test combat 3. I have 5 combat. Yeah, exactly. No, 4 is good. 5, it's one of those. Leo has access to different cards, though, right? Tony only has access to Guardian events and skills up to level 1, so he doesn't have access to any of those big Guardian weapons. 5 to 1, Tony's going to try to use a switchblade to try to cut through the webs blocking the hall out of here. -1. Success. We discard Sickening Webs. And last action, I'm going to get the hell out of here. Woo! We're moving up to the stairwell. But do you have a kill board? Not yet. Maybe I should. In the enemy phase, the swarms of spiders do not hunt. They are waiting for us to get to them. And in upkeep, we draw a card and gain a resource. Take the initiative. Yeah, you do like to see that, honestly. Move back to the mythos. Oh, fudge. Sorry. Oh, no. The agenda only says add infested locations. Never mind. Sorry. Ignore I just said anything. We're good. We move back to the mythos phase. Tony is up in the stairwell. Randolph is urging him onwards. We have to close the rifts. We have to close them now. But we draw an encounter card here in the stairwell first. It's the Spider of Ling. This is a large spider enemy. When the enemy phase ends, add a swarm card to each swarm of spiders enemy in play. If there are no swarm of spiders enemies in play, search the encounter deck and discard pile. Oh, sorry, Tony's Long Colt comes back to hand because it was only slighted into play, so it doesn't actually live in play, unfortunately. Right? If it's still in play, return it to your hand. So he's pocketed his Colt again. And then if there are no swarm of spiders, search for a swarm of spiders and put it into play. So the Spider of Leng spawns more spiders. This is a big one, and this is definitely something that Tony's going to want to deal with. I'm going to put I'm going to put 2 bounties on it. Why not, right? Get some money out of it. Oh, and I have to make an infestation test. Of course. Tablet? Set this token aside. Would you... Let me think about that for a second. You'd slide it into play. You'd put well maintained on it. Oh, hi, Roger Twy. Oh, did we... Whoa! Hefty Yeti, thank you so much for the raid. Hello, Raiders. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Doomed. Solo playthroughs through Arkham Horror, the card game with a focus on roleplay and storytelling. We'll do a quick little story recap up to this point. Tony Morgan, the bounty hunter, is guarding his lover, who is currently in the Dreamlands. We've managed to obtain the help of one dreamer, Randolph Carter, and we are attempting to close the rift to the other world. Content warning for today's stream. Spiders. There's lots of them in this game, or in this scenario. But welcome, Raiders. Thank you and hello. FD Eddie, if you are here in particular, I want to say thank you for having me on your stream ages ago. I loved it. Right. Oh, I see what you mean, Crosshair. Yeah, you could keep like sliding and like putting stuff into play and just returning it, which is good times. Okay. Did I draw a token? I did. Oh, Hefty Yeti. Thank you very much. So you did hear that. Thank you. Glad you're here. I'm gonna keep doing this because I got some bad boys to deal with here. The stairwell. A massive creature stumbles down the stairwell. Tony motions for Randolph to step back as he tries to ready a gun in time. We moved to the investigation phase where I put a resource. Yeah, I take a resource from Lone Wolf. And now we decide what to do. I could try to evade the spider, so I could play a weapon and then fight it twice. I did, Crosshair. Yes, sorry, thank you. But for the reminder, I took a tablet this time. I could also just play a gun out, take the hit. Might be okay. Probably for the best, actually. Because if I'm trying to think of how this is going to go down. I would need to succeed with the Mauser. The Long Colt is good. Long Colt is good. Certainly. And I would need to use 2 bullets from it. I kind of want the Mauser down. Because if I don't ready it, at least I'll be able to, like, fight a couple of times with a punch. Yeah. Tony realizes he's going to need a lot more firepower to deal with something this big, so he fumbles in his pocket. Whoops, not that. And he pulls out a Mauser, a machine pistol he brought. He didn't really think that there was going to be something this horrible here, but he likes to come prepared. I take an attack of opportunity from the Spider of Leng. 1 horror goes on Randolph and 1 damage goes on me. But he manages to get the gun out as the creature lunges towards him. He stumbles back down the stairwell. Now, free action this turn because of Tony Morgan. Let's fight. Exhaust Mauser, spend an ammo, fight! You get +1 combat and deal +1 damage for this attack. If you succeed by 2 or more, ready the Mauser or gain a resource. Do I want to commit anything to this? I could commit take the initiative. Probably succeed. I think I want to take the initiative for, like, rotting remains tests and stuff. We're just going to fight. 6-3. Tony Morgan unleashes an absolute salvo of bullets at the creature, hoping to put a dent in it. And we'll see where we're at. 6-3. Oh my god. This is exactly what I was like. Oh, I sure hope this doesn't happen. So the Mauser doesn't ready. Because I did not succeed by 2 or more, so I can't use it again this round. Yeah, hate to see it. You have to see it. For those raiders who are still here, this is the tentacle token, the auto fail in Arkham Horror, the card game. Good times. Well, it looks like we're punching. I'm gonna punch this guy right in his stupid face. I'm gonna hit him 5-3. That's what you love to see. Put a damage on the Spider of Lang. Tony is just gonna go in there. His Mauser jams briefly, and he tosses it to Randolph, and he's just like, "Get that unclipped!" And he leaps at the creature. Dream puncher. Look at this guy is a dream puncher for sure. We're gonna go in 5-3. Wow, that's another technical token. So dumb. Why? What did I ever do to you? The creature is incensed and furious, and during the enemy phase, it swats at Tony. 1 damage, 1 horror. They both go on me. It absolutely explodes with rage and unleashes a chittering sound that chills him to the bone. Upkeep! We draw a card, we gain a resource. This is Guardian of the Crystallizer. Now, this is an enemy weakness, but if there is no Crystallizer of Dreams in play, set the Guardian of Crystallizer aside. Tony feels a shiver as some unknown force passes behind him and behind Randolph, but he doesn't really have time to recognize it. There's bigger problems here, bigger fish to fry, as it were. We move to Doom. The audience is sure to be at the edge of their seat because he is in a sticky situation. We go to 1 Doom out of 8. There's swarms everywhere. We still have to close 3 rifts. We draw an encounter card. Of course, it's yeah, of course it is. It's Threads of Reality attached to the non-permanent, non-weakness asset you control with the highest printed cost. That's Mauser. As Randolph catches the gun and starts madly trying to unjam it using his limited firearms knowledge, it starts to disintegrate in his hands. Disappear. Sorry, Threads of Fate is the thing that affected the Crystallizer before. Treat attached asset as if its printed text box were blank. Discard an asset you control to discard Threads of Reality. Well, I may do that. I may end up trying to defeat this guy. I may end up trying to deal with this guy first. We draw a token. I thought so. The Cultist. Choose a location connected to an infested location. That location becomes infested. There's only 1 possibility left. It's the Experimental Therapies ward. When we come back around, we gain a resource from Lone Wolf. Now, possibilities. Take the initiative to evade the Spider of Lang. Sorry, I'm gonna put Threads of Reality here to remind myself that the Mauser is unavailable. It is currently disintegrating in Randolph's hands. Take the initiative to evade the Spider of Lang. That'd be 5-3. Not great. Not bad, not great. Put Tony's Long Colt into play and fight at a 7. Taking another damage and another horror. That sucks. But then I'll have 2 guns in play. I don't know how I'm going to get rid of Threads of Reality, but that doesn't really matter right now. Oh, I would use up all the bullets on the Long Colt and then get rid of it that way. Yeah. That's the best bet. Hey! That is funny. I didn't... Oh, God. Is that... Oh. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Thankfully, Tony is prepared, as he always is. I have to take a damage and a horror. I'm not killing Randolph. I'm putting them both on me. Oh, it's getting rough. We spent our 3 resources? We did not. Spend 3 resources to put our other long Colt into play. Watching as his Mauser is disappearing, Randolph drops it on the ground where it stops disintegrating briefly. Tony manages to get inside his pocket as he ducks a swing from the Spider of Leng's tentacles. Tentacles? Arms. Claw arms? What do you call those? Ironic for sure. Let's fight 5 to 3. Just straight. Let's do it. 5 to 3. Arms. I don't want to waste a bullet from the long Colt, but I have to. Now I have to. I'm way too late. We're gonna shoot. This is now. Tony is done with this creature. I'm just shooting 7 to 3, right? Because I have +2 combat because of the 2 bounties on Spider of Leng. Tony is horrified by this beast, and he doesn't know what it is he's supposed to do. 7 to 3. There you go. Could have used that last time. Blam! 2 damage. Straight onto the spider's face. Last action. One more time. We're spending a bullet from the long Colt. As the creature sits on the ground, Tony walks up to it, looks down. And he probably says something about, did somebody call an exterminator? No, he probably says, like, you can't pay me enough to do this shit. Blam! 7 to 3. Minus X. Oops, sorry, you can't see that. Minus X. It's the number of infested locations. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 to 3. Minus 4. Still a success. We can also exhaust Randolph Carter to draw 2 cards, which I am definitely doing. Great, cool, sure, why not? Bam. The bullet sinks into the spider, and it stops moving. That's 2 resources from the bounties, and I defeated a creature, so 1 goes back on bounty contracts. And we finally discard the Spider of Leng. Oh no, that's actually not a bad idea, Crosshair. Because I was thinking I'll use my last bullet, discard the long Colt, and then I'll have access to my Mauser again. But this is just ridiculous. Oh god. What's my timing looking like here? It's due... Okay, upkeep. Draw a card, gain a resource. Haha, vicious blow. Oh my god, let's do this. I am... I'm ready. We go to Doom 2 out of 8. The creature lies dead on the ground, and Randolph seems shocked, but a bit of a strange sensation goes through Tony that Randolph seems shocked, but it's more of an image of shock. It's not really the feeling. Almost as if Randolph was expecting something like this. Maybe he's seen it before in the Dreamlands. That's bad. Will of the Spider Mother. Oh god, horrible. Test Will 3. If there is a spider enemy at your location, you cannot commit cards to the skill test. There is not. If you fail, you cannot attack or investigate until the end of the round. Okay, well, that's not the worst, because I wouldn't want to attack or investigate this round anyway. That is horrible. The will of the Spider Mother is that you cannot find anything. You cannot fight back. You must run and hide from me, Alatnacha! I have 3 willpower because of Randolph Carter. I'm going to commit take the initiative to be 6 to 3. Yeah. 6 to 3. A skull, -1. Success. Goodbye. The will of the Spider Mother does not will the Spider Mother. That's a very different show. We gain a resource from Lone Wolf at the top of the turn. Okay. What's the game plan? The game plan is we want a clue so that we can freely get rid of these things, right? So, intel report. Pay 2, get the clue off this location, off the stairwell location. Tony now realizes that these creatures must be coming through, well, Randolph Carter's already mentioned rifts to the Dreamlands, but he doesn't know what they look like. How would he ever know? seeing this creature appear at the top of the stairs, he realizes it must have appeared in the stairwell. It couldn't have come through the door. Going up to the top of the stairwell, he sees a dark patch of spider webbing, and when he looks and shines a light through it, it is not translucent. It is, in fact, a hole in reality. So the intel report that I've managed to find is intelligence about how they're getting into the world. Yeah, we'll take it. We're going to move up to the experimental therapies ward, where I will seal the rift. Now, to seal a rift with Randolph, test will X to attempt to seal the rift. X is the location's shroud. Investigators at this location may spend a clue to automatically succeed. If you succeed, replace the damage with a horror token, and it cannot become infested again. Let's do it. With our powers combined. No, being with the knowledge of what these rifts look like, Tony is able to point them out to Randolph Carter, who is able to seal them up. So I'm spending a clue to automatically seal the rift at this location. I did look this up. If you automatically succeed at a test before skill tokens are supposed to be revealed, you don't have to reveal one. It's like a very specific, it's like a, yeah, I did look this up. It's like a weird timing rule where we'll look at the skill timing. Oh, no, it's at the, anyway. It's all the way at the back of the book, but there's timing in skill tests. When you decide what kind of test it is, where is it? There we go. Skill test timing. So you would determine the type of skill test. Then I'm allowed to spend the clue so it's automatically successful, so I don't have to reveal chaos tokens. You skip to the modified skill value section, which is 3 to 0, but it doesn't matter. It's the end of the investigation phase. We've managed to seal the rift in the experimental therapies ward, blocking progression of the infestation further into the hospital. Upkeep draws us a card. I knew it. Gains us a resource. This is Tony's weakness, Tony's quarry. This is, of course, the enemy referred to in Tony's backstory, the thing, the fishman creature from Innsmouth. It does crosshair for show. Yeah, there are some automatic success things that says like it only triggers after, so you would still reveal a token just in case you reveal a tentacle, but like those are few and far between. This is a humanoid monster deep one. It spawns at the location farthest from Tony Morgan. It is aloof, forced. After it enters play, place a doom on it, then place a resource on it from the token pool as a bounty. Now naturally, this is the creature that Tony is meant to hunt. What is the furthest location for me? All of these basements are 2 away, and the records office is 2 away. I have to go to the records office, so I'm gonna put Tony's bounty there. We're gonna be doing an awful lot of fighting, team. We're gonna walk through, beat up these spiders, walk in, and take on Tony Morgan's quarry. That's what we're gonna do. The reason, of course, that the records office was damp is because the creature from Innsmouth has brought its seaside atmosphere with it somehow. Now, of course, it has a doom on it. It's a 4 combat creature as well, which is no bueno, but that's okay. We'll get there when we get there. That was upkeep. Naturally. We go to 3, 4 out of 8 doom. No bueno. We draw an encounter card, which is Whispers of Hypnos. Whispers of Hypnos, of course, we're back in the experimental therapies ward, where the whispers emanate once again. Perhaps they are the whispers of those who died here, or perhaps, and somehow Tony is almost more worried about this because of the way Randolph's eyes widen. Perhaps these are the whispers of people who are still in the Dreamlands. I'm going to choose agility to be agility 0 for the round. I have to make an infestation test. Draw. Tablet. Set it aside. Investigation phase. Gain a resource from Lone Wolf. Okay. Let's talk about what we need to do here. I need to walk in and defeat these spiders. And then move on, and then remove the infestation. Then move on and remove the infestation from the records office. Deal with Tony's quarry as well. I'd love to have my Mauser back, so I think this is going to make sense. Tony is standing at the precipice. He could make a break for it. The waiting room is, to his knowledge, infested. If he could clear that infestation, clear out the enemies there, he could just run out the front door. But damn it, he's here for his partner and his partner's friend. He's here for their journey into the Dreamlands, and he is here to make sure no harm comes to them. So that is not an option yet. It might be an option later. We're gonna first action, we're gonna move into the waiting room where we draw the ire of a swarm of creatures. Threads is gonna go there. The swarm is gonna go there. So, as a reminder, swarming enemies operate kind of as a pack. There's 3 of them, and they're each 1/1/3s. They deal a damage. But one of them has this exciting thing on it. Swarm of spiders. Spiders get +1 fight and +1 evade at infested locations, like this one is. So we're going to kick its ass. I'm going to punch it, and then I'm going to use Tony's long colt to blow the hell out of the remaining 2. Tony is all fists and boots and bullets. He is a whirling dervish of death as he attempts to... Oh, or I could use Vicious Blow to clear them all out in one shot. Action compress. Oh, it's going to be... No. It's more important to do that on the... Yeah, that's more important to use on Tony's quarry. No, we're going to... it's going to take a sec. It's fine. We're going to fight. I have 5 combat. The Swarm of Spiders only has 1 combat, so we're going to fight from 5 to 1. 0. So we defeat one of them. The Swarm card goes back under the bottom of my deck because it came out of my deck in the first place. Then Tony, using his free action, because I'm fighting a creature with a bounty on it, I spend the last ammo from the long colt. And get ready. He aims, and he's ready to defeat this creature once and for all. So I'm fighting 6 to 1. That's still a success. I'll take it. It does 2 damage. I defeated an enemy with a bounty, so bounties goes there. I get my card back, whatever this is, and I defeat the Swarm of Spiders, gain the resource that was on it. Okay. Now, last action. I'd really love to get rid of the infestation at this location. Will I be able to? Probably not. I have 1 action left. I could get rid of the Threads of Reality, then I'd have access to my Mauser again. Or I could get rid of this infestation. Infestation location. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Tony is going to put the long colt. It's out. It's out. He's out of 38. So he grabs the Mauser back from Randolph, and it is somehow seemingly in one piece again. So I have access to my Mauser again. Enemy phase, upkeep phase, Whispers of Hypnos discards. We draw a card, gain a resource. Ooh, Switchblade! This is, of course, the Switchblade that he was using to try to cut through the webbing downstairs. Yeah, exactly. Before he was Papa Roach, he was Baby Roach, and this is his first EP infestation location. Switchblade is going to be great for dealing with those punky little spiders. We go to Mythos, the Mythos phase, where we go to 5 out of 8 Doom. Not looking so good for our heroes here. Draw an encounter card. Whispers of Hypnos. I'm just going to go right ahead and choose Agility again. No problem. No problem. And we draw a token from the bag. I was afraid of that. This is a skull. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a spider enemy and spawn it at the infested location nearest to any investigator. Well, I'm gonna get that swarm of spiders back. I'm gonna spawn it. I'm closest. So from the wall, sweating profusely and breathing heavily, Tony is like, well, I think they're all gone. And then suddenly from the wall comes the sound of scurrying, clacking as the swarm of spiders emerges from the wall once again. I'm going to put a bounty on the swarm of spiders. 2. I'm going to put 2 bounties, 1 on each. Yeah, done. Great. That was the infestation test. So I move back. I get a resource from Lone Wolf. Here we go. We're finally... Things are humming. Things are humming along. I need to close the rifts. I need to defeat... there's probably clues on the emergency room. So if I go there... It's just I need to... Okay. Strategy talk time. I need to take out Tony's Quarry. It has a doom on it. That's reducing the time limit that I have left in this scenario. But I then need to succeed at, you know, things in the waiting room and the records office. That's okay. I have a trick up my sleeve for helping with that. So let's start by fighting. We're going to try to take out these 2 by using the Mouser, which worked so well last time. The Mouser, I'm fighting at 6 to 1. And we're going to, yeah, we're going to fight both of these spider enemies. Here, he's just firing in rows along the ground, trying to drive them back here. 6 to 1. Cultist, reveal another token? Okay. Phew! This says, if you fail, and it's agenda 2 or 3, make an infestation. Okay. I did not fail. And in fact, I succeeded by 2 or more. So I killed 2 enemies. Get the resource off this guy. These cards go back at the bottom of my deck, whatever they are. If you succeed by 2 or more, either ready the Mouser or gain a resource. I'm going to gain a resource because I'm just going to punch this guy next. Yeah. Tony lifts... a heavy ink blot from the and paperweight from the desk here in the front hallway, and he just starts throwing them at the spiders, trying to send them scurrying back to where they came from. Fighting at 5 to 1. For fuck's sake. I also realized, sorry, I'm at an infested location, so technically they all have fight 2. That didn't matter for the last thing, but now it does because he has retaliate. No, he doesn't. Doesn't have retaliate. He just has +1 fight and +1 evade. So fail. Disappointing. Very disappointing. That is disappointing. I was hoping to like well connected and then take on the infestation here, but you know, you got to do what you got to do, right? We're gonna fight again. 5 to 1. Yeah, I can't afford to take more damage, so we're gonna fight again. 5 to 1. Okay, that one's a big success. So we gain the resource, defeat the swarm of spiders. Last action, finally I'm going to get this out here. This is well connected. Tony realizes that, you know, having access to Randolph and hopefully being able to add him to his sort of network of contacts throughout the city, he could prove a very valuable ally in his fight against the stranger creatures that he encounters. I should mention what it does. Well connected is a card. It says exhaust it, free trigger. You get +1 skill value for each 5 resources that you have. Seems pretty good. That'll help me close up these rifts, but unfortunately I'm out of actions because I drew another tentacle. Enemy phase, nothing. Upkeep phase. We ditch Whispers of Hypnos, draw a card, gain a resource. On the Hunt. On the Hunt is a card that allows you to, instead of drawing a card, search for an enemy and spawn it engaged with you. I don't want to do that right now. I don't think. I think I want to... Only 4. I know! How many tests have I taken? I mean, let's not even do the math on that, but it feels like about 1 in 5. Maybe more. Mythos phase. Oh, I don't think we're going to make it. 5, 6 out of 8 Doom. I don't think we're going to make it. Draw an encounter card. It's Rotting Remains! This is very bad. Oh, I didn't want to have to do this, but I'm going to use Well Connected here. Yeah. Well Connected gives me +2 skill value to go up to 5 to 3, but I can't If I take the horror, I die. Straight up. Because I can't put any more on Randolph without killing him. So I'm going to test 5 to 3 here. Thankfully, Tony can remember a time where he had to deal with a host of not just insects, but like large, oversized roaches, and he's making sure that that's foremost in his mind. 5 to 3. Okay, success. Good. See? Okay, actually, I would have passed on the 3 anyway, but it's okay. I can't risk it. So we pass. It's back. Nope. I have to draw a token. It's a tablet. Nothing happens. It's background to us. I gain a resource from the lone wolf. Okay. Yeah. So first action. Here's what we're doing. We're moving into the records office. Second action, we are engaging free action, Tony's quarry, and then we're going to fight this guy. He's got 4 combat. I have 5 combat. 6 with the Mouser. 7 with this vicious blow. 8 with this on the hunt. Tony is furious. As he ventures back into the records office, Randolph is leading the way, trying to find rifts to close, and suddenly Randolph calls out, "What in God's name is that?" Tony sees a very familiar figure. Half human, half fish. It sits crouched in the corner, turns towards him, and gibbers unintelligibly. I'm fighting at 8 to 4. 5 plus 1 from the Mouser, plus 1 from Vicious Blow, plus 1 from On the Hunt. Tentacle? It's the number of infested locations, of which there are 3, so that's still a success. I don't succeed by 2, but I can still trigger Randolph to draw 2 cards, which I will definitely do. Yoy. Okay. 3 damage. I don't succeed by 2, so the Mouser can't do anything for me, but I gain a resource from Tony's quarry. I remove the doom. I kill Tony's quarry. Now, last action, I'm going to test to try to close this rift, because we have 3 rifts to close. The sooner I get them closed, the sooner I can get the hell out of here. If nothing else, I'll just resign at the waiting room if I have. If I have to, we'll let some of the hospital be overtaken, but hopefully we won't have to. Last action, I'm going to test. I have 3 willpower with Randolph. I'm going to commit this Faustian Bargain, which is also a great card. Crosshair, you'll appreciate this if you haven't already seen it. As an additional token, or as an additional cost to play Faustian Bargain, add 2 curse tokens to the Chaos Bag. Investigators at your location gain a total of 5 resources. Distribute it as you wish. Story-wise, of course, if I had drawn and used this before, Tony would have, prayed to some sort of higher power or lower power, perhaps. But we're not doing a Faustian Bargain. I'm just committing it for a willpower icon. Yes! Oh, it's a good shout, for sure. Good shout for most people. I have 4 will, and I'm just testing on the nose. Skull, -1. Success. We close the rift in the records office. I can kind of breathe again. Kind of. And we move to upkeep. Draw a card, gain a resource. Excuse me. Let's arrange what we have, hey? A Switchblade, a Mouser, and a Lone Wolf, with agility icons for some reason. Dario, who I can't play. Crosshair, like I told you, this was either going to be a complete disaster or a skin of my teeth, probably not going to make it situation. Mythos phase. We go to 6 out of 8 Doom. I'm going to draw my encounter card, and then we're going to figure out if I even have the actions to do this. Yeah, I don't have the actions to do this. This is... I'm so screwed. This is the Grey Weaver. This is a spider enemy, a monster. Preys on the lowest agility. It's a hunter. While it's ready, investigators at this location cannot take move actions. It's got victory 1, 4 combat, 5 health. 3 evade. All I have is a shitty little mouser. I'll get you, buddy. Oh, boy. Okay. Well, I'm putting bounties on it, that's for sure. And then we'll draw our infestation token, and we'll see where we're at here. Draw an infestation token. Cultist. Set this token aside. Choose a location connected to an infested location. It becomes infested. Now, interestingly enough, I can't, because all of the connected locations are cleared or have had their rifts closed. For the remainder of the game, they cannot become infested. This token whiffs, because I have to choose a location that's connected to an infested one. But if 2 or more cultists are set aside, they all go back in the bag. Back to me. I gain a resource from Lone Wolf. Okay. Options. I could sit here and fight this. I could also attempt to evade. I'd put everything I would have into evading. Run down to the emergency room, fight the spiders, try to close the rift, come back to the waiting room. I guess I'd have to then, so let's talk actions here. Possibly, one possible course of action is evade, move twice, and then I'd still have a free... I think so. Ah, weirdness, you are just in time. Welcome to Doomed. Tony Morgan, the bounty hunter, is attempting to close up infestations here in St. Mary's Hospital. Content warning: spiders. Some people don't like even images of them. Just a heads up. We've been doing okay up to right now. So, actions that I would need, right? 1 move, 2 move, 3 move, 4 to clear, 5 to clear. A fight would be free. And evade, so that's 6 actions. And then I'd have 1 more fight that I would just have to take some damage or whatever. So I don't think I'm going to have time. Evade, move, clear. And then I would have 1 more turn. Evade, move, clear, move back. Resign, I don't have the actions for it. This is going so well. Oh, no! Now, if I had some ability to, like, have extra actions here. So the question becomes, do I want to try to kill this Grey Weaver for the victory point? Obviously, yes. Obviously, I do. The thing is, I farted around for too long at the beginning of the scenario. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this here, team. Evade, move, move, fight, clear, move, clear. Yeah, exactly. And then I'd still have a swarm with me, but that's okay, actually. I'd probably survive that. That's fine. Because, what's the objective? Ah, if there are no infested locations in play, advance. So in fact, Crosshair, bear with me on this. I don't actually have to resign. I just have to clear everything. Now, the problem, of course, is... Do I have the ability to do that? Yes. Right? The action says test willpower X to attempt to seal the rift. The problem is I have to at least kill some of the spiders, because otherwise I'm, like, totally fucked. Okay. Evade the spider that's at my location. Move. There's no way I'm clearing that without my well connected, so I would move again, and I would fight the swarm of spiders. Then no, but then I'm not going to clear twice. This is the problem. I need my well connected both turns. So evade. Good luck, I guess. Yep. That's the hope, Crosshair. Alternatively, right? Evade, move, clear. Then next turn, I could resign if I had to, or I could move and fight and clear and whatever. Oh, Trisha. Let's Let's see how the evade action goes first, shall we? I'm going to evade this creature. I have 2 agility against its 3. I am going to commit... I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to commit a Switchblade and a Lone Wolf and a Mouser to this test to be 5 to 3. Oh! Okay, sorry. I should mention Crosshair. I think it's an important thing I'm trying to factor in here. Waiting room has to be uninfested for me to resign. So if I need a panic button to get out, I need to deal with this one first. And I think I want that ability. I don't think I want the doom to tick over, is what I'm trying to get at here. I think I'd rather be defeated. Hopefully not, though. Okay. First action, evade. 5 to 2. Cultist, reveal another token. Oh my god, Jesse. Jeez Louise. 5 to 3, sorry. Skull. -1. Not a staff enemy. Evaded. Okay. It's horrible. It's horrible and I don't like it. Second action, move to the waiting room. Quick! We're going to attempt to clear the rift here. I have 3 willpower. 4, 5, 6 because I'm well connected. Clear the rift. Clear the rift. Tony is just like, Randolph, get us out that front door. I'll get the friends. 6 to 3. Boom! Success. Okay. Cleared the rift in the waiting room. So at least that's only 1 infested location remaining. Oh god. Enemy phase. Nothing happens. Upkeep phase. We draw cards, we gain resources. We ready this massive dude who I feel like I should be able to fight because I have like a bunch of combat, but right now it's just too much. I just can't do it. We move to the mythos phase. This is down to the wire, team. Tony is looking at the front door and looking at Randolph, who's like, come on. He's shouting at him in slow motion. And then he just looks down the hall towards the emergency rooms where he knows Luke and I always forget her name, Witten, are waiting. We get a 7 out of 8 Doom. We draw an encounter card, which is Outbreak. Perform an Infestation Test. So I'm actually just going to perform 2 straight. I have to. Ready? Draw 1. It's a Cultist. Cultist's whiff, because the emergency room can't go anywhere. I draw another. It's the end of the mythos phase. That's what I was afraid of. A skull is search the encounter deck and discard pile for a spider enemy and spawn it at the infested location closest to any investigator. So I will search. I'm going to search for the Spider of Leng, I think. I mean, does it matter? How much damage can I even take? I can take a few. Maybe I will take a swarm of spiders, actually. Oops, where did I put the spider? Where did I put the Spider of Leng down? Excuse me. Okay, it's there. Swarm of spiders. I put a bounty on it, sure, who cares? And I put the top 2 cards of my deck in there. Okay, it's back around. That's what I was worried about. I was worried that was going to be a skull. Let's contemplate. My objective would be to get in there and seal the rift. I could get in there, fight twice, and attempt to seal the rift. Fighting twice would, theoretically, remove 4 enemies, theoretically, which would then give me just 2 damage, which I could survive, to take an attack of opportunity. This means, of course, I couldn't fail. I wouldn't be allowed to fail. And, oh boy, this is tough. This is tough because I have a vague recollection of what happens. There's various outcomes to the scenario, right? Defeat, lose because you run out of time on the Doom counter. Exactly, Crosshair. So this is the problem, right? I remember that there's outcomes based on, like, what if you are defeated? What if you resign? What if you doom out? so to speak. We do know how we do here. What's the story? Is Tony Morgan just going to leave his love behind because he's like, well, I've done the best I can? Resign, you flee the hospital, leaving your companions behind. I don't see it. I just don't see it. No, I don't see it. We're not doing it. Tony's going to run back towards the emergency room. Virgil's like, what are you doing? Emergency room says, this room contains the aftermath of what must have been a gruesome admission. Splatters of dried blood cover the mattress in the center of the room, and medical supplies, bandages, gauze, syringes litter the floor. Victory won, but like, oh, actually, I'm getting another victory point. That's good. That's a good thing. Okay, the spiders are everywhere today. They are absolutely out of control. I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 here in a pile. I'm going to just put 4 enemies in a pile here. Free action. We're going to fight using this machine pistol. Let's go. We're going to fight using the Mauser. And I'm going to commit scene of the crime for a combat icon. I have 5, 6 with the Mauser, 7 to 2, right? 7 to 2 because we're at an infested location. So many swarm of spiders. 7 to 2. The Mauser rings out bullets bouncing off of the walls. Tony is going to have to, I mean, theoretically, he'd have to pay for the cleanup of the damage he's doing, but there's a part of him in the back of his mind that figures, like, no one's going to notice the bullet holes in amongst all of these dead spider bodies. 7 to 2. That is a -1. I am not going to draw with actually. If I draw with Randolph, what am I hoping to get? What am I hoping to get with Randolph? A vicious blow. Right? Do I have 2? Where's the other one? Oh, did I lose one? What the hell? I should have 2 copies of Vicious Blow. Well, hang on. Now this is a mystery. I will, of course, continue to play out the scenario, but I really should have... Sorry, what I'm searching for is a specific skill, Vicious Blow, of which I only seem to have 1 copy, which is very weird because I definitely would have put 2 in. Oh, no wonder I couldn't find them. Yeah, right. Spider Swarm, here we go. Oh, of course it is! Crosshair, what a dude. Okay, I can't fire Randolph because I would draw 2 cards and I would take a horror for doing so I won't. However, I did succeed by 2, so I'm going to ready the Mauser, and I'll take 2 cards back and put them in here. Yeah, the token effect after whatever token is revealed, and then I apply the damage, so then it would kill the spiders and put them back in my deck. That's how I feel about it. I will wait, however. Okay. However, I did defeat an enemy at my location. This feels really good, so I'm going to play Evidence. Discover a clue at your location. This is the 1 clue on this location, which means I get a victory point. It also means I can get this, I can succeed automatically. Yes, Crosshair! We did it! Well, hang on. Not yet. We have to fight still. The swarming continues. Hang on, how did I do this? Yes, I defeated both swarms under 1 enemy, right? Because I did +1 damage, so this swarm is now available again. Oh, actually, that's an interesting point. That's a really interesting point. Hold up. If I dealt 2 damage, it can't be to 2 different enemies. The swarms operate as a stack, so you target 1, and then you deal 2 damage, 1 to each copy, like, underneath it. So, in fact, I've defeated both swarms on this swarm of spiders. Oh, no, it's fine. I just don't need the bounty. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't listen to me, everyone. Tony screams again in triumph. Exactly. I was hoping to get the bounty off one of them, but like it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Tony screams in triumph as he levies another volley into the spiders as he rushes blindly towards where his companions lie. I'm going to fight again. I have 6 combat to 2 on this swarm of spiders. That's... Yep. Great. Done. This time I will exhaust Randolph to draw 2. Oh, great. Oh, perception. Oh, wow. Yeah, nice. Oh, another 21 or bust. Oh, cool. However, I do succeed by 2, so I will ready my Mouser again. Put both these cards back in my deck. Last action. Good night, Luke. It's wonderful for you to be here. It's a good question, Crosshair. Last action. I can't believe it. I'm going to test will X to attempt to seal the rift. X is this location's shroud value. I may spend a clue to automatically succeed. I will spend a clue to automatically succeed. I also have to take an attack of opportunity, which puts 2 damage on me. Wild. I have never seen... Sorry, never. I've obviously seen scenarios down to the wire before, and in fact, actually, I can point at basically every conclusion of a Doomed stream that I've ever done as being down to the wire. This is wild. I'm 1 damage away from defeat. I lost, like, a gun. I drew, like, 5 tentacles. If there are no infested locations in play, advance. As Tony was drawing the fire from the swarm as it rushed around, suddenly, silence. He looks back. Randolph Carter did not run. Randolph Carter is right behind him. Act 3B, the next step. I honestly can't believe it. With the final rift sealed, the infestation ceases, and the hospital returns to normal. Good work, Randolph says. Still, I believe this matter warrants further investigation. We do not know what caused this to happen. Oh God. Jesse McCready, what are you up to over there? What was I grunting for? Sorry, what was he grunting for? Still, I believe this matter warrants further investigation. We do not know what caused this to happen. You remind him that there is also the matter of your companions who still refuse to wake. Yes, of course, that too. Come, let us go somewhere private where we can discuss what our next step should be. Sadly, I do not believe that there is anything more we can do to aid your friends here. You don't know if Randolph means here as in the hospital or here as in the waking world, but either way, it doesn't bode well for your companions. Check the campaign log. If Dr. Maheswaran joined the investigation or stayed with her patients, she stayed with her patients. Did I write it down somewhere? Yeah. Stayed with the patients. R3. Before you depart from the hospital, you go back to the emergency ward. Of course. Whoops. There we go. To check on Dr. Maheswaran. The door to the room where your companions are staying is sealed shut, so you knock on the door and ask if she's there. On the other side, you hear furniture being shifted aside and knocked over. An exhausted Shivani Maheswaran cracks open the door and peers at you with bloodshot eyes. Oh, thank goodness. It's you. She lets you in and collapses onto a nearby chair. Those things tried to get into the room. I had to barricade myself inside to stop them. You inform her that the danger has passed and thank her for watching over your friends. I'll continue to keep an eye on them, she says. Just please tell me there are no more spiders out there, or I'm taking the first train out of town. As you leave, you swear to your sleeping friends that you will get to the bottom of this. In your campaign log, record that Dr. Maheswaran is alive. I will. Also record that Randolph escaped the hospital with the investigators. Any one investigator may choose to add Randolph Carter to your deck. Yup, we're taking him. Stayed with the patients and is alive. Randolph Carter escaped with Tony. That feels great. That's really good. Skip to resolution 5. You depart from the hospital with the blonde-haired man in tow, and he introduces himself more fully. The man, whose name is Randolph Carter, tells you that he is a dreamer, like Virgil Gray, and like Luke Robinson, your friend. one with the ability to traverse the divide between the waking world and a parallel dimension that was created by, is sustained by, and dwells within the dreams of all living organism on Earth, a realm he calls the Dreamlands. It is a place of both dreams and nightmares, he explains, and I'm afraid your friends are trapped there as we speak. You ask if there's anything you can do to aid them. Randolph ponders this for a moment and then replies, well, normally dreamers can return to the real world simply by willing themselves awake, but for some reason your friends are unable to do so. If you truly wish to help them, you too must enter the Dreamlands and find them. But forcing your way into the Dreamlands is not easy. Such paths are usually accessible only to experienced dreamers and only in sleep. Still, there are some places where the Dreamlands touch the waking world, and in those places, with the right tools, you may enter the Dreamlands in your physical body. I know of such a place not far from here. However, before Randolph is able to finish his sentence, he is interrupted by a mysterious voice. Each investigator earns experience equal to Victory X. Remove the Infestation Bag and Infestation tokens from the game. You don't have to keep track. If you're playing the Web of Dreams and the Dream Quest as an interconnected 8-part campaign, go to Interlude 1, The Black Cat. I'm going to count my victory points really quick. So, I got 2 from the records office, 1 from the emergency room, 2 from the experimental therapies ward, 1 from the stairwell. That's 6. Is that it? Yep. Yep. Okay. Not as much as I had hoped, but I think I know what I'm going to spend it on. Yeah, I do think I know what I'm... it's better to have consistency. Anyway. If you are playing both the Dream Quest and the Web of Dreams as an interconnected campaign, proceed to the Black Cat 1. Oh, hang on. This is really long, right? Yeah. We're going to do this next time. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's the thing, Crosshair. I feel like there was this guy had 1. I bet these locations, these basement doors, have experience on them. I don't think if there's any other experience. There's no bonus experience or anything. Yeah. So, next time then we will be proceeding to the interlude. Yeah, that sounds right? If I look back here really quick, I'm pretty sure... Yeah, Luke Robinson had 10 on his side, so that sounds about right. But 6, I'm not I'm not mad at it. We're going to do the interlude next time on stream so that we can get a sense of, what that means for us. And then we'll be proceeding with, that's going to be a long stream. Scenario 2A on the dreaming side is the search for Kadath, which is, I haven't played it a bunch. I think I played it once, ages ago. It is really cool, and I'm really jazzed because there's some important decisions that get made in the scenario, and important in the sense of like what happens, but not important in the story. So I'm gonna poll the audience. I'm gonna poll you guys to see what Luke Robinson is gonna end up doing. However, a lot of reading for the Black Cat interlude. I'm not going to do that right now. Hell, maybe I'll even have a little bonus recording that I'll put on my YouTube channel. Who knows? Exactly, Crosshair! Ta-da! And it's about time for me to get ready for the rest of my day. Ta-ta! No, it's been an absolute blast. That's it! Tony Morgan survived the waking nightmare! I can't believe it! Dream Daddy. I miss Dream Daddy. Paximo, I hope that you're doing well. I also hope that Luke Robinson and Tony Morgan... lovers, partners, are reunited in the Dreamlands. I hope so. Or the waking world. Perhaps. Who knows? Weirdness, I'm with you 100%. Exactly. So, yes, tomorrow at 1800 hours, right here on this channel, the Dr. Surgeon MD continues his waking unlife in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. It's a wild game. It's honestly pretty wild. I'm really enjoying it. And I don't know how much more there is. Lots, I presume, but we'll see. He's convinced people to... He's bought drugs off people. He explored a haunted house. He's been draining blood from victims. Hefty Yeti, I'd never played it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I'd never played. It's so exciting. Anyway, also, Yeti, thank you so much for the raid. Really appreciate you raiding over. I can't wait to have a peek in at your next stream as well. Actually, everyone, go throw a follow over to Hefty Yeti. I'll also remind people that the Coolian is streaming in just about 20 minutes. Oh, too much. Okay, I'm going to call it a night. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Lots of water, and hope to see you back here tomorrow for the Dr. Surgeon MD's Unlife. Ta-ra!